go. What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and we should be live right now. We should be live. I really hope so. I hope that we are. I have a special guest joining us today all the way from England. It's Peter Dance, the king of Invoker. Say hi, Peter.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so Peter shot me a message and he was like, "Dude, I want to do this with you." So we're doing our only SCR's tier list. Yeah, it's gonna be something. We have look at the horror that I'm doing to myself. We have 50 SCRs. 50.
Quite a lot in it.
Yeah. I think there's a very good reason why, we forgot that most of these ones exist in the game. We'll remind people. Probably people forgot as well. So
some good memories, to be honest. Like when I'm looking at some of them, I remember we'll get through it as we go through. But there's definitely a couple of SCRs there that are special to my heart.
Hello there, Janos. Hello there. So we are at 7 viewers now. So let's wait a couple of minutes for people to show up so they don't miss our initial rankings. But in the meantime, we can talk about the tiers that we have chosen for this, that I made. I went through them quickly with Peter, but for all of you guys, it's basically tier 0 is the best ones. Tier 1, tier 0, those are, obviously the best ones. No competition. Tier 1 is, high competitive. The ones that you might replace the best ones in, or the ones that function the best in specific decks, basically. In specific, very competitive decks. Tier 2 are just those that are very good, They're not high competitive, but they are good SCRs. They're very, very good. Tier 3 is decent. These are the ones that are just okay. They're not bad by any means. I mean, they're worse. Okay, they are worse than 3 tiers above them, but they're decent. And tier 4 is bad. So tier 4 is really bad, man. This, you don't want to touch these ones. And just in case, we have tier 5 actual trash. Just in case that something is actual trash. We will be going through them. We will be going through them through 2 criterias, basically. We are looking at them, how they performed at the time that they were released, combined with how they perform now. And we're putting a higher emphasis on how they perform now. That's basically it, Yeah. We have 10 people here. Peter, I think we can start.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you.
Okay, awesome. So let us start. These aren't in any order. This is just tier maker just doing his own thing. So it just happens that we are starting with SSB Kaioken Blue, the set 1 SCR, let's call it like that. Okay, so this one has been making waves in blue decks, man. This one has been making some waves lately. It's good. I think it's very, very good, when it came out, I was a bit skeptical, either this one or Baby Hatch, but this one has been seeing a lot of play lately. Though I'm still between him and Baby Hatch. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, so this one I have kind of slightly opposite opinion. So, yeah, currently it's used more in the ramp deck. So, like your Beerus ramp, for example, you'll probably pick this maybe over Beerus, especially as we go into a slower format. Personally, I liked it, but then because people are packing Cunning now, fair enough, Cunning doesn't hit Bean or anything like that. but like just packing say 2 Cunnings in the side deck just for this card, I think is worth it. And then it kind of shuts the card down. Don't get me wrong, if Cunning didn't exist, I would definitely put this very high tier. But for me, I would never risk, if I was playing blue, even Blue Beerus, I would never risk this card because I respect the Cunning cards. And yeah, I just, for that reason, obviously deflect triple attack 40k is great.
Yes.
Like no one can argue that, but I wouldn't run it over Hatch only because of Cunning.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think we will never see cunning cards being banned. I think they're just gonna stay forever. If blue is remotely good in the metagame, people are siding cunning cards. So that's why,
exactly.
That's why I'm like, okay, it's not tier 0. It's not. Now we're just, I think that we are between like 1 and 2. And I'm more leaning for because of the reason that you said, which is a solid argument, cunning cards is just shutting it down. I'm more leaning towards tier 2, although it is an amazingly powerful effect. I mean, like, if you dodge cunning cards, it's amazing, but like if blue is remotely good, you will just run into them. I don't think it's like high competitive.
No, and there's an alternative. Obviously, it seems like blue's getting stronger and stronger SCRs now as well, so it's not like the only option away from away from this or Baby Hatch. There's obviously a few cards which we'll go over later, but I feel like, because I was thinking tier 2, tier 3, so if you're thinking 1 and 2, I think tier 2 is probably where it suits.
I think say.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, if it's just the Cunning cards, it's like, if people are not packing them, then I would say tier 1, tier 2, which is kind of what you were thinking, but because of the Cunnings, I think 2 to 3.
Yeah, I think I would put it still in 2, because, like, I have some thoughts in my head, and I think that we need to respect the tier 3, because like tier 3 is going to be filled with all kinds of shit, man. So like this is
okay. Let's put him in 2 then. Let's use him as the example of what tier 2 looks like.
yeah. So like this is an example of what tier 2, and now 50 subs gone, like, and that's it. Let's go into one card that really surprised a bunch of people in the last World Championship, and that is the monkey, the green ape. Okay, I think this one is solid. I'm thinking more of it's a good card to have. Like, it's semi-generic. I'm a bit distant because I'm actually trying to find it on Deck Planet to remind myself what it does. I know that when you combo, you get to KO something.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it here for you, buddy. But basically, so if your leader's mono green and you move this card and you combo away from the game, when it's used in a combo, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. And it's a 1 cost to combo. It's got an activate main, which is 5 green. You play this card from your hand, and it gets dual attack triple. It's obviously ultimate keyword. It's got no deflect or barrier, and it's 40k.
Yeah, so like activate main, this is like flavor text. This is
you're never. I mean, to be fair, I did once upon a time in a tournament. Someone there was a Gohan reboot leader that actually had to pay 5 mana because I was playing Invoker, so it went on that long. But yeah, he played against me and I minused it, so that was always fun. But yeah, realistically, you're playing that. You're having this card for the combo ignoring barrier effect.
Yeah, I think like pay 1, so it's like 1 energy 10k combo, KO something ignoring barrier. That's not bad. I wouldn't call this, a bad card. I think it's more of a problem that like green SERs in general aren't like really generically super good. And aside from, I'll be completely honest with you, aside from seeing when Wang played it in Worlds, I forgot that this card existed for a very long time. And I think we probably have some people here who also forgot that the ape existed. So I think that this is... I don't think it's... I'm between like decent and bad. Because
I'm the same.
because I think like right now we live in an era where green has more and more ways to deal with barrier. So like, do you really need, this SER anymore? And it has like no protection, it has nothing. So like
yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You're never going to play this card as an actual card.
Yeah.
So you basically got to purely look at it for its ignoring barrier effect. Now, there's not a lot of decks that tend to go all in on a battle card anymore, or shouldn't do, should I say, due to the amount of removal. Obviously, if you don't have mana up, sure, that's a different story. But I agree, it's one of those cute cards where if you're looking at best of one online tournament, it's probably going to do pretty well. But in a big tournament, best of three in person, especially with Top Cut, it's not going to have that surprise factor anymore.
Yeah.
So I think the value of the card goes down massively, and I think that's why I'd probably lean more towards bad. The only reason is because you can't actually play it. Like, you're not going to get to turn 5 and tap out 5 mana to play this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, this is bad. Like, this is... If it had, like, deflect or barrier or, like, anything, you're like... But still...
Or, like, 3 mana or something, like, to bring out or something.
But this is just... Yeah. The next one is the one that I only know exists because I have, the revision pack one.
Same here, I have the revision pack as well.
Guys, this SCR got hit by an errata like a long time ago, and even the unerrata version is like €3 or something. Like, from what I am seeing. The normal foiled one is like dirt cheap as well. Like the last time that I've checked, like not €2 or €3, but cheap. And this one is like, I wasn't playing when this one came out. Like, so, but...
Oh, weren't you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it now, like, I think that this is just bad. So it's Ultimate Double Strike, 40k, 8 cost with 4 specified yellow. Permanent, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each battle card with 15k power in your drop area, specifically 15k.
Yep.
Permanent, negate the skills of all other battle cards. That's strong. That's okay. But auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and place them in their owner's drop area. So 40k Ultimate Double Strike. I mean, like, it's from the text, the permanent is okay. The permanent, like, that just negates skills of everything, that's okay. But like everything, even if you... I think this is bad, because like even if you lower his cost, which is very, very specific. It needs to be 15k. Specifically 15k. Because, it's the Gotenks and Trunks. Goten and Trunks in the yellow.
It is from the same set.
But no barrier, nothing. And then you still need to pay 4 because it doesn't remove the specified energy cost. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember this card being used even when it came out. Like, I remember, because again, I've been playing since set 5, so I remember when this card came out, and I don't even remember anybody like playing with it or like any like top decks. There might have been maybe the odd one, but you're right. I mean, if it was like maybe 15k or less, it would maybe have a little bit more wiggle room, because obviously super combos and what have you are quite useful there. But yeah, I think just jumping the gun, I think if we're looking at the tier list, I think this is probably an example where it would be tier 5 because I can't imagine a single world I would have that card or play that card. Where at least say with the ape that we just looked at, you would have it for the auto combo.
Yeah.
But with this, like, why would I ever have this card?
We have a viewer here. Jano says that his friend plays the yellow Gotenks leader and uses this SCR. That sometimes it still surprises opponents. I completely believe you, Janos. If I didn't have the revised version, like, I would forget that this existed. And he says, like, it was cheap. He said that's why he's using it. Like, yeah, it is cheap, it's but I think I agree with you, Peter. I think this is just like, this is actual trash.
I think also as well, it worked better the less extra as the set's gone on. So what I mean by that is, like, if you think about removal back then, you mostly had it in the form of battle cards, which obviously had their skills negated.
Yeah.
Where now we have Realm of the God, max power. So we have a lot more, because there's also another card which we'll talk about later on that I feel the same principle, where it was better when we had less extra card removal. But with this one, it's like the negate skills of all battle cards, which sounds amazing, and it can be, but in a world where we can just pay one and get rid of it, it's not good.
Yeah. If it had like barrier or something to offset, but it goes into tier 5. It's actual trash. Like,
I think right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah. Say.
I think I was just gonna add to what you said there with barrier. I think if it had barrier, all of a sudden I would actually put it higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, without the barrier, I don't rate it at all.
No. Well, now, like, Janos, our viewer, told me that I better put Gogeta high. I have a very sour relationship with this Gogeta card. I have a very, very sour, completely non-objective relationship with this card. And I'll just briefly tell why is... when I got into the game, I was like, I love SS4 GT Gogeta. I cannot wait for it to show up. And then, like, Bandai teased us with this card. It's okay, guys, like, Gogeta is coming to the game. And then it was, just an SCR. And then we didn't see, like, SS4 Gogeta for, like, 3 years. So,
yeah.
But, yeah. So, you want to read this one?
Yeah, sure. So, it's... Ultimate triple strike, which is always nice, but unfortunately no barrier, no deflect. It's got permanent, which hurts it quite a lot. You can't play battle cards. This card can't be removed from battle area by skills, and you can't combo cards in your battle area. So literally, you play this, and you're not playing a battle card again, pretty much, because this can't be removed from your battle area by skills as well. So obviously, Yellow could deal with it, but that's another story. And then its cost is 5, so activate main, 5 colorless. If all your energy is the same color, play this card from your hand, draw 2, switch up to 2 of your energy to activate mode, and then your opponent chooses 2 of their cards in the hand and their battle and 2 of their battle cards, and they send them to the warp. So ignoring the 5 costs, the actual effect is pretty nice. Draw 2, untap 2, discard 2, and warp 2. Like, pretty nice on that.
But
it's a shame it's 5 mana.
yeah. But, like, the permanent is...
Yeah.
With no protection, it's so crippling. Like, it's so... Like, he doesn't even have deflect.
Yeah, what's crazy is this is a set 10 card, and we just... I think what they did was, because obviously set 9 had, in my opinion, some of the best SCRs in the game, and I think what happened was they were perhaps a bit scared of the power level they were doing SCRs, because ultimately, if I'm not able to play battle cards anymore, I'd want, like, dual attack, or why not give it triple strike, triple attack, or... You know what I mean? Something a bit more beefier than just a single strike. Well, triple strike, but, a single attack.
Yeah. I think like
So I think they're a bit scared when they was doing some of the power levels in set 10.
the card has protection. We have Ethan saying the card has protection with its permanent, but it's very limiting. That the permanent is the protection is super limiting. Who needs?
Yeah, you'd have to final flash it and remove it that way, or bloodlust and then remove it.
Yeah. So not to mention, no one is gonna God sealing it, and like that, it doesn't need a deflect. That only yellow and blue can counter it. I mean, like red can just eat it for breakfast. Deflect, yeah, but like if not deflect, I'm not unbiased when it comes to this card, Peter. So I'm going to let you swing the guillotine on this one, and
I'm gonna put it in that tier 5, mate. Absolute trash. Again, if we're using ape as a measurement for tier 4, like no, I'd never even consider this. So unfortunately for the Gogeta fanboys, I am sorry, but it needs to be tier 5.
It's go to Peter's channel, subscribe and unsubscribe.
Just to give me notifications.
Yes.
Two interesting things. The only good things about the card, I will say, is the fact it's an activate main, and the reason that's relevant is because even if you God seal in it, I mean, again, it's not an auto, so you still get certain effects as well. So that's obviously something really good. And I remember that Apex is exactly the same. So if you God seal Apex, you still get all the effects. So that's the only. If I was to say anything, that's the only good thing about the card. The fact you would still get its effects around certain cards like that.
I mean, if you manage to catch your opponents off guard completely, then it has a powerful effect if you're on 5. It definitely has a powerful effect if you manage to catch someone completely off guard. So, but yeah, if we're judging by ape, next up is SS4 Broly. And I've played this one recently on the nets. Peter, I played it on nets.
Yeah, man, this is a monster of a card.
Yeah, this one is. Let's go 40k ultimate barrier double strike activate main. Choose one of your mono red Saiyans with an original power of 35k in your battle area. Place it in your drop. And then play this card from your hand. One of your mono red leaders gets plus 10k power until the start of your next turn. And permanent, all cards in your opponent's leader, battle and combo area get minus 5k power / combo power. It's such a monster. It's such a monster of a card. It's insane. And now it is highlighted again a bit through the shitty Gogeta Exodia BR deck. That's complete trash. Please don't play it. I am sorry for hyping people. I also thought in my defense, I actually took that one to nets and it was awful. So
it's a very hit or miss. I mean, I was practicing it, and when I got the combo off, it just felt like I was unlosable at that point. It was so broken, but it's not consistent enough. If you're playing 8 rounds, it's not going to be consistent. If you're only going to be playing 4, for example, then you're probably fine. But this is a monster of an SCR. It's everything you want. It's barrier, double strike. Yes, it doesn't have deflect, but I'm not bothered about that. The activate main, getting rid of a Saiyan sucks a lot. Well, getting rid of a 35k sucks. However, it's the permanent. The permanent is literally God mode.
This just what isn't a super combo is just taken away. Like that's it. Like you're just screwed when this guy enters.
Exactly. The only weakness is this card gets weaker or stronger based on the extra card meta.
Yeah.
So, like, say, blue has a lot of Realm of the God Beerus's and or Goku Kamiha. So, like, against blue, it has a lot less use. And obviously now the blue's got blue Beerus, so some of its power has reduced. But outside of that, it's an absolutely monster of a card.
It also has, you know, you need to have a specifically 35k original power Saiyan mono red in order to cheat this guy out. So it is a bit limiting, but it gives you so much in return if you manage to play him. However, also because of this limitation, its use is also quite limiting at the moment. Like, if it weren't for the Gogeta BR deck, this card wouldn't be seeing as much play right now. But still, it's still a monster of a card. So I think we are looking... I think if we are judging by the standards that we are using, I would say... Peter, I think I would still put him like in tier 2, you know.
I agree. My first
standards.
Yeah, my first like thing that came to mind, and probably why I was saying it was a monster card, was my first thought was tier 1.
Yeah.
And then I looked at what we put as tier 2, which is the Kaioken.
Yeah.
And if we're basing the Kaioken on limitations of cunning being the reason why we've put it as tier 2, then surely this is also in the same realms, because the limitations are a different type in terms of the Saiyan and things like that, which are not so easy to, like, it's not like you can just...
Yeah, it's super
you know what I
limiting.
mean? There's some restrictions there. So I think we have to base it on the same restrictions as Kaioken, but slightly different, which would put it into that tier 2 category.
By the way, we have 23 viewers right now. Hello,
hello,
everyone.
guys.
Hello. We just got through 5 out of 50 cards, so you're still relatively early. Let's continue. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining in. I'm with Peter Dance, the king of Invoker, and we're just going over SCRs. Some of them we remember, some of them we completely forgot existed. So it's a fun roller coaster of emotions and memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello,
on a side note, sorry to interrupt. I was thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking about Kaioken a little bit more, and part of me wants to change it to tier 1 a little bit. Maybe we review it after we've done a few more cards, because I'm just thinking of Cunnings, and I'm just thinking game 1. I know some of my teammates, we did run Cunnings in the main deck, just like a one-off copy, but I don't know. I would like to maybe revisit that after we've finished a lot more of the list, because I'm a bit questioning on that one.
Okay, so we will revisit. You can just type it in the chat, because I cannot open on my. But we will be revisiting SSB Kaioken later. Next one is Baby Hatch. So you told me something about Baby Hatch. Now, I'm going to tell you guys like this. In my opinion, Baby Hatch is our first tier 0 SCR. It is the best, in my opinion, it is the best option in the color. It's an auto-include if you're playing blue. It's just an amazing. It's basically an extra turn card. So it's very difficult to be better than Baby Hatch, because we have seen through the last year or two Bandai putting out blue SCRs, which just get overshadowed completely because Baby Hatch exists. So what can you make that's more powerful than Baby Hatch? Like counterplay, win the game. Counterplay, deal damage. This guy is just like for free extra turn. So in my mind, Baby Hatch is tier 0. Like, it is just the best in color, the one that you always want to have when you're looking at options. But Peter told me that he doesn't necessarily agree, and you didn't tell me your reasoning, so I'm very interested in learning this.
I wanted to save it. So, yeah, there's no question Hatch has been, in my eyes, the king, and the Kaioken was the only card, really, that could potentially change your mind. I kind of feel, obviously it's an SCR we'll talk about later, but I kind of feel like the Gohan is going to dethrone Hatch. But I think it mostly depends on the deck. Like if you're playing Blue Beerus, for example, you're not going to be doing Gohan. If you're running, probably why a lot of the Crimson lists are running this, or if you're running anything aggressive or more mid-range aggressive, I think Gohan is going to be the correct choice. But also the meta will change. So I think I think Hatch is tier 0 because I think it is an amazing SCR. But I think when we do the tier 0 on this, I think it's the best control blue card. Because I do also think, again, spoiler alert, I do think Gohan will also fit in that tier 0 slot. Maybe we'll have a conversation about it. But only in aggression. Like you say, if I was playing Blue Beerus, I'm not going to be running Gohan. Or any other sort of long, control deck. However, if I'm playing Crimson or maybe even Soul Striker, if I was going down the Soul Striker route, I'd probably consider Gohan.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you could untap your leader, swing again, untapped. Like, there's so much synergy there. Because again, the untapping 2 on the activate main in battle, it does it on your turn, your opponent's turn. And I think that sets up some crazy potential plays. So, yes, I think we can all agree Hatch is definitely tier 1. Tier 0. But I also think that we should definitely think of there will be another blue potentially in there.
Yeah. We will revisit Gohan a bit later. So, but yeah, I think that we'll end up also just putting him in tier 0. I just don't want to skip things.
yeah, exactly. But that's my rationale between. Yeah, it was, but however, prior to set 19, I would 100%, no questions, Hatch. Even if you're aggro, Hatch all the way. But now I think there's room.
So the next one is, the original SS4 Vegeta. The original one.
Wow.
Oh, the Unison one. So
fun fact though with this card, it was the if my memory is correct, it is a bit hazy, but I believe other than the Dragon Balls that came out in set, was it 8, 9, 10?
I think it was 8.
8. Other than that, this was the only SCR Janemba could run. Like, as a little bit of food for thought, because it was an option, because obviously for anyone that knows, I do play Janemba quite a lot as well, and it was an option in Janemba as well, but yeah, you're not going to run it. It's trash.
So for those who have fortunately bleached from their minds the memory of this card, like I have until I've found it, is it's a Unison. It's a black Unison, double strike permanent, double strike 25k. Permanent, this card can't attack if it has 3 or fewer markers on it, so you need to pay 3 at least to play it. +1 activate main. You may place X cards from your energy in their owner's drop area. If you do, place X cards from your drop area in your energy in rest mode. And then +-0 activate main for 4 different energy. So everything except black, because black was still like a
wasn't
generic.
the color.
yeah. Draw 3 cards. This card gets +15k and triple strike, and your opponent can only activate counter skills one more time for the turn. So the way that I am reading this is +-0, pay for energy, draw 3 cards, your opponent counters your attack now. So, like, that's how I'm reading this, but, like...
There's also some extra bits as well. You can actually, because it's got no specified cost, you can actually just pay 1 to bring it out. So, in theory... I mean, again, we didn't have any free counterplay black stuff back then.
Yeah.
That came out a bit later in the terms of the Shenron card. I forgot what it's called now. But yeah, it's one of those things. Technically, you can bring it out for 1, but like you say, you can't attack until you've got 4 markers on it. So,
but where was this originally ran? Because I cannot, right from the top of my head, I cannot think of a black deck that wants to put cards from their energy into the drop, and then you get energies back, but in rest mode. So, like, what was it?
No, there's some
21.
few plays because you can spend the mana and then chuck them into the drop.
Yeah, we have Miyamoto here saying Android 21 self-control. Is possible. Like I said, like, but still, thank you Miyamoto for letting me know. But I think that this is still like this is trash. Like there is no reality in which you can look at all of these cards and say like, okay, this isn't trash. You know, like this is like actual garbage. This is so bad. Speaking of bad, we have Paikuhan now.
Yeah, there was as a side note, there was at Nats, there was an interesting 7-coup build that used it to swap around the energy for the Beeruses. Obviously, it probably didn't do too well, but it was quite an interesting like idea that they did with it. Because if you think about it, because you can bring it out turn 1, for 1 mana, should I say? If you had say 4 Beeruses in your energy, you technically do that, and then all of a sudden you've actually got 4 real energy instead of 4 fake energy. Kind of fake energy. So there's a few small cute things like that, and I think you're right, it'll stay trash until we have more stuff like that where all of a sudden, like you say, you could ramp 5 cards and you couldn't put them in active mode. Once stuff like that happens, then this will be good, but until then, it's staying trash.
The next one is, do you want to read this one? Super Paikuhan Might Manifested.
Is this because it's got a million things to talk about?
Well,
okay,
it perfectly embodies the Paikuhan deck, like, fuck.
Yeah, so it's a ultimate double strike dual attack, so 40k. So that's pretty good, like double strike dual attack 40k. I like that. So when it attacks, and this is not once per turn, bear in mind, your opponent reveals their hand. You choose one card from their hand with an energy cost of 7 or less, and place it in the bottom of the owner's deck. Now that, if you stop there, that'd be decent. The downside is your opponent then draws a card. So it's like so that makes it not so happy. It's got an activate battle, which is 4 mana. So if your leader card is blue and all your energy is mono blue, and your opponent has 4 more energy, play this card from your hand. If you do, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and return them to the owner's hand. It's a shame it doesn't ignore barrier, but the activate battle is alright. It's a shame it's 4 mana.
yeah, like the activate battle it's not bad. Like the effect is, of course, it doesn't ignore barrier. But like the effect isn't bad, but it's very, in modern times, this card is unplayable. Like, it's super slow. It's your opponent needs to have 4 or more energy. That's already like why? But even at the time when it came out, it wasn't very played.
No, the thing is, it's set 12 as well, so you expect literally for me. If your opponent wasn't drawing a card each time and it ignored barrier, it would be I'd probably then consider it as tier 4. But with your opponent drawing card, because obviously anytime you look at your opponent's hand, it's great.
Yeah.
But the fact he draws, and it doesn't ignore barrier, and there's so many conditions. There's no protection. Like, I'd imagine that's just straight tier 5, unless you have any opinions.
Yeah. I'm just gonna add like 29 people. Hello, everyone. We are scratching the surface. If you saw the last couple of cards, it looks more like we're scratching the bottom of the barrel. Like, we have a lot more to go. For all of you joining us, hi, welcome. It's great to see all of you here. And yeah, we have like so much more to go. We were just going over Paikuhan. I agree. I think Paikuhan, he isn't even bad. He's just, yeah.
Like I say, he could get a few little tweaks to make him that tier 4 section. And of course, anyone in the chat, I'm reading your comments anyway, so you can always voice your opinions, and it might influence me, or at least.
I cannot type, so Peter will be typing instead. So anyway, the next one is okay. I love this one. I love this one. Yeah, this one is very good. It is the blue Buu, the counter one.
Edge green.
Green. Sorry. Green counter. I'm digging to find the text so that I read it properly.
It's a counter. Do you want me to go over it?
Oh, I've got it. Okay, if you found it first, sure.
Yeah. Because I also like this card, because I own this card and I'm a big fan of this card. But yeah, it's double strike. There's no deflect or barrier, sadly. It's a counter, which is great because outside of blue and yellow, pretty much, I mean, there's a few obviously niche things, but overall this is what's pretty good. And it negates the counter attack skill and play this card, so a nice cheeky counter. But it only works on anything other than your leader being in battle. That's the downside. But also it was good in maybe cooler, because you do it on the unison swing before you minus it. It's got a nice little cheeky permanent, because it is initially a 10 cost. So if your leader is mono green, or your black demon race realm race card, and you activate this card's counter skill, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 7, so it ends up being obviously a 3 cost. And then if your leader card is black demon realm race, treat this card in your hand as it has no specified cost. So obviously, even though it's normally 3 green, it also gives options for black demon realm races to run the card as well. I mean, it came out at the same time as the Toa Ultimate deck, if my memory is correct. I'm pretty sure that's why it came out.
It came out in set 13.
It was set 12. No, set 12.
Set 12, Vicious Rejuvenation. Yeah. Cold came out in set 13. That's when I was using it.
I used it in King Cold as well.
I love this card. Like one of my favorite decks is King Cold, and like this is the card. You don't run. You swing with your unison, and then you just like demolish their counter, minus him, and it's game at that point. So love this card. I think that this one is, well, it hasn't been seeing a lot of play lately, but like, it hasn't been I think that the reason why it's not seeing a lot of play lately is that it also doesn't have a deck that currently, it's like Broly. It's very specific in what it wants, in the deck in which you want to play it. But when you play it, it's extremely powerful. It's just a crazy card when you manage to pull him off. So, and it's one of definitely the better green SCRs. So I am between, I'm leaning towards tier 2 with this one. Because like, I'm still waging it. You have this one, and then you have like Kibi Tokai as well that you need to take into consideration, and then you have the newest cell that you need to take into consideration. But honestly, like I think it's one of those that it's difficult to go wrong with this one. It's basically counter cooler on
Yeah,
your swing in green.
yeah. The reason, I mean, I was thinking tier 3 direction. Now, the reason I was thinking that was because even though it's great, it comes out for 3 mana. That's also its weakness as well. The fact it becomes a 3 mana when it gets played. So the amount, even though it won't stop the counter, the amount of counter plays, like, and oh, why can't I think of anything right now? My mind's blank. But like all the ones that send it to the drop instead, so like the black Kamiha thing and stuff like that, it then hits this card. So even though it doesn't stop the counter, it then stops the 40k double strike coming out on the field. The fact you can't do it on your leader, which means unless you've got a good Unison, aka King Cold's Unison, and also Unisons are kind of getting pushed out now.
Yeah.
So I think the power level of this card comes down. So yes, there's definitely arguments for tier 2, and I definitely think there's arguments for tier 3. So I think it does fall into that line. I don't know if chat has any, because I know we can see a tier 2 and I can see a tier 3 because it's green, which there's a lot of truth to that.
That is true. Well, let's look at it like, I mean, if you're running King Cold, you're running this one.
Yes.
But like, if you're not running King Cold and with Unisons being pushed out more and more, you need to have free energy opened in green to combine counter with the swing that's probably your boss monster, because you cannot use this with the leader. So like it's a bit unrealistic without Unisons. It's a bit very, very heavily costed without Unisons. So I'm also like, now you got me also thinking between two and 3, but
I think it is decent, isn't it? It's not a very good. I think if we look at the names, and again, we're going to be pointing at the same like level of Broly and Kaioken.
Yeah, I think it's decent. I think it's tier 3. Yeah.
I think it's a decent, and and again, it will also to do with catching people off guard. Like in best of 1, it will be a lot better than in best of 3.
Yeah, but this one can really catch someone off guard and just win you games super fast. Next one is one of the best SCRs in the game. Like it's the Supreme Kai of Time.
Definitely was queen for a little while, wasn't she?
yeah. It's luckily it's a bit cheaper now than it was when it came out, but this one is so 8 cost, no specified, black, ultimate, permanent. If this card would be removed from your battle area, remove it from the game instead. It's normal now. Activate main for 1 energy. Choose this card and all of your opponent's battle cards and Unison cards and send them to their owner's warp. So for 1, activate main, this just removes everything. Activate battle for 1 if you have 3 or more energy. Play this card from your hand. If you do, your opponent can't attack with leader cards or Unison cards for the turn. Like this when I think of the best SCRs in the game, Supreme Kai of Time is probably, along with like Pan and like Baby Hatch, it's one of those that like immediately pops into mind. Like this card is bonkers.
Yeah, and again, it comes. The fact is, it was again. Chat, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but off the top of my head, it was also the first card that we had that actually could deal with Unisons instantly as well.
I think it was.
Because it was set 12 as well, so don't forget that was only 2 sets in on Unisons. I mean, you had some that would remove like a marker, but actually get rid of it. This is a beast of a card. And the fact is, it's like you could catch your opponent off guard. So like, if they attack with a battle card and they had a Unison and leader still up, you play that, and then all of a sudden their attacks, they can't attack with their leader or Unison, and again that can be quite huge as well. This is this when it first came out was a monster, and it's unfortunately I think it's a little bit outshined by some of the other SCRs. It doesn't seem to see play anymore, but I think it's still a great SCR.
So I think we're looking like 0 or 1. Like it's definitely better than tier 2, I would say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Better, yeah.
The only thing I'm tempted putting it in tier 1 is over tier 0, even though I kind of want to put it in tier 0. But if I was looking at this in the bigger picture, it's not played anymore. Unisons we can deal with easy with Black Smoke, so that it doesn't ignore barrier, and it's got no protection.
That is true.
What's that?
That is true. That's completely true. It doesn't do these things.
I mean, it is amazing, and I think that's why you could argue maybe tier 1 over tier 0, just because which deck runs this?
Yeah, like I'm torn just because like hello everyone, 26 viewers. For those of you joining us right now, here is our conundrum. The criteria is that we are judging cards by the effect that they have on the game when they came out, and judging that through and in addition to that also putting a high emphasis on where they are now. So, and that's how we are doing these tiers. Of course, some SCRs here just came out, so for them it's just like how are they performing right now. And like the only reason why I'm tempted to put this into tier 0 is because of the first criteria, where we are judging it how it performed when it came out, because for very long time this was the SCR. This was like you play this everywhere. This is the SCR in the game. Like,
very true.
Yeah, so I think like
realistically, let's do tier 0.
Realistically, I think it would belong in tier 1. But because of what the card did to the game for such a very long time, I would put it in tier 0 because of that criteria, basically.
And it's also got some unique effects, even now. So if you were like say, if there was all of a sudden 3-cost Unisons that could swing like 5 times a turn or something like that, or your leader could swing, 6 times a turn or something insane. This is where this kind of SCR is so unique, because it's, it can stop the leader constantly attacking. So yeah.
Yeah. Hello Glowfather, we have already debated. We will go back to redoing SSB Kaioken once everything is done, because we are also torn between like 1 and 2. So yeah.
Might be worth maybe moving it to 1 for now, just because obviously a lot of the chat is sort of scolding me on this. So shall we move it to 1 now? And
let's move it to 1, and then we will rethink maybe to 2, because we have a lot of people who just come here. Of course, they open YouTube, they see this and the moment when they come in, it's already in tier 2. So like let's put it to 1 for now. Like,
and also it means we've got 1 in each for now.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And we have a whole bunch of them in garbage. That's a pretty good start. Oh man, how many of them are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? We are 1/4 of the way done. 1/5 of the way done. We have 40 left to go. And the majority of them are in tier 5. Oh.
Yeah, probably. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So now we are going to not seen Zeno. Totally not seen Zeno, guys. I mean, like, seen Zeno, seen Shenron, Yellow One. I read Kai. You start with this one then.
Sure. So it's a ultimate blocker, which is quite unique for SCR that's a blocker, 40k. Permanent, even though it's a yellow card, it's also treated as black in all areas, which is quite interesting. It's got the other permanent, just like all SCRs do now because of the rulebook, where it's removed from game. And then it's got an auto, so you combo with it for 1 mana, and then at the end of battle, in which this card is used in combo from your hand, you play this card from your drop, for 1 mana as well. So for a total of 2 mana, 1 for the combo, 1 for the auto. You can choose any number of your opponent's leader cards, battle cards, and unison cards equal to or less than their current energy. It ignores barrier and switches them to rest mode. And then it's got an activate main, which is 4 mana. This card gets double strike and dual attack for the turn. I was a big fan of this card when it came out, and I think it's a good card. I don't know if you've had much experience with this particular card.
I've had experience playing against it, so and it was a good card, and it for the longest time it was played in Black Shadow Dragons because it's searchable in that deck.
Yeah.
Now it was replaced by Black Smoke, because Black Smoke is now even easier to search in that deck. But like for everything that it does, I would agree with Chet here. I would say that this one is, at the very least, I would say like, I would be saying like tier 3. Like, I don't think it's bad. But
yeah, it's a good end to it.
Yeah, I don't think that it's bad. I think that it's very limited in the decks where you can put him now, but in those decks, it's very good. Like, even if you don't have Smoke Dragon and you are running and you're playing Black Shadow Dragons, it's very, very good in that deck. So I think that like Buu, it has a very niche, it's a niche card, but it's decent, That's my line of thinking.
The thing is, like, let's say it's turn 5. You pay, and let's say they do a leader swing or whoever. You're basically paying 2 mana to basically rest 5 cards. Now, that is crazy good. Unfortunately, to activate main is kind of too costly and not really great. However, its actual auto, and this is where its power comes from. So again, similar to where we rated Ape, this is actually better than Ape because it's playable. And yes, it doesn't KO. However, you do it on a leader swing, and the fact is it rests unisons, it rests everything, and it ignores barrier, which is huge. So I think it's definitely at least tier 3. And you could argue that it would be tier 2 if the activate main maybe cost 2 mana, or 3 mana maybe. So I think that's where we probably end up sticking it, only because I think it's only the activate main that ruins the card.
Yeah. Let's sidetrack for a second. We have a viewer saying, thoughts on extra Broly to take to my locals. I will immediately assume that this is the green extra Broly that you are asking about. If it's the green one, I think that extra Broly is, I think that it's great. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying extra Broly. I think that it is very good. It's not, if you told me to take it to nets, I would tell you not to take it to nets, but to take it to locals, definitely. I still have like very high hopes in green extra Broly. If it's the red one, run away screaming. Like, don't touch the red one, but the green one, have fun. It's a very fun deck and it's super strong. If you high roll, that deck just ruffle stomps. So definitely take it to locals and have fun with it. Will you be taking locals? Depends, on your locals, but you will definitely have fun with the deck. The green one, green one. It's take it to locals. I like that deck. I'm heavily biased for this deck because I'm still Peter. I'm still on Copium. That's like when we got revealed Gogeta and Broly, I was like, there is no way that Bandai is going to make both of them bad. So it's a fun deck. It's a fun deck that can win locals, depending on the locals, the scene and everything. So,
yeah, it's a deck I want to give a go. I haven't got any set 19 stuff yet, sadly. However, it is a deck that interests me quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah. It's you know what it missed, Peter? It missed Catastrophic Blow. That's what it misses. Green Cata Blow.
Or some kind of green burn card.
Yeah. Let's dive into the next. The next is our other Unison one. 1 second. I am grabbing the picture of it so that I can properly read it to you. Gohanks. Ultimate dual attack blocker 25k for a whole bunch of energy. 4 red energy Unison. Auto. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and you neg them by 25k for the turn. For the turn, that's good. That's where I love for the negations for the turn. +1 auto. When your opponent attacks with a battle card, you may choose it and it gets minus 25k for the turn. The May effect is also good because it's not auto once per turn. They cannot force you to just waste it. -4 active main. This card gets +15 in triple strike for the turn, and at the end of the turn you switch it into active mode. Well, it's 25k. It's Unison, so you pay 4 for it. So it's a 4 marker. 4 cost Unison, which means we can compare it to the red Vegito. Dual attack blocker. When he's played, he just negs everything. He's a Unison, he cannot be counterplayed. That's important. +1, yeah, it gets to neg something, not ignoring barrier, of course. -4. I mean, like -4. You're not really minusing 4 when you play him unless you're paying 5 for him. So, but he gets 15k in triple strike. So, dual attack 40k blocker that restands himself and probably wipes at least a portion of the board when he comes out. However, I think that my problem with this card has always been that it is too costly for me. I love playing slower red decks. Like Gogeta Bulma is my favorite deck of all time, and even I'm thinking I don't like going more than 3 cost for my red Unisons. I think that 3 should be like the threshold. What's good, this one avoids Smoke Dragon, so that's something. Yeah. But in my opinion, I think that this one is still too costly. That if you're running a 4 cost Unison in red, you're probably running Vegito instead, because Vegito is a monster. If you play Vegito, you basically win the game if he doesn't die. So yeah. I'm not sold on this one. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, this is the problem with Unison SCRs when they cost so much, because depending on the deck, you're gonna have a Unison you don't want to get rid of. So this particular card was either used in Cooler or it was used in Bulma quite a lot. Now, if I'm playing Bulma now, you're gonna probably play the baby Unison. If you're playing Cooler, maybe the Jiren or again the baby Unison. So the baby Unison is going to stick around for quite a while, unless you're against Red Sin. So I can't imagine a world where turn 3 you play baby Unison and then you want to get rid of it turn 4, turn 5. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. So even though I think it's a great card in terms of the board wipe, the fact it ignores barrier, the +1 is very nice. The -4 is less useful because, like you say, realistically, because it's not got empowered, because that's again what's a shame, because obviously empowered came later.
Yes.
If this card had empowered,
then
it would be great. Yeah, even if it was just empowered 2 or 3, that's all it needed. Yeah, exactly. So because it lacks in power, it then lacks playability because of that, and that's the real shame, because if it was a battle card, it's got some good stats in terms of the board wipe and stuff. But like you said, the Vegeta SCR does basically the same thing: crits alive, board wipes, minus 5k your opponent's leader.
Yeah.
And if that's assuming you don't want to swing with it, first. But I think it's a shame, because every part of me wants to love this SCR.
Yeah.
But I can't, because it's a Unison.
Yeah.
And no empower.
It was, let's say like this, it was definitely one of the better SCRs to consider in red at the time it came out. But now because our other criteria is also weighing it to how it performs now. Now you have the red Vegito. Now you have Vegeta. That's just insane. Now you have you have these two. So you have the baby Unison. You really have to struggle to find the reasons to run it anymore, over Vegeta and everything. So it's less restrictive than Broly. That is true. Like Broly, it's another card that's a bit difficult to play because you're paying 4 for this guy, and you need to get rid of your baby Unison or your Gogeta 2-cost Unison, which neither one of which I would really want to replace for this one. So
exactly, I think it probably bad tier. What do you think?
Bad.
Or were you thinking decent?
It hurts me. I was thinking decent, but the more we're talking, the more arguments I'm finding for you would never play this. But decent. I could tier 4.
The only reason I'm saying 4 over 3 is purely because the Unisons you're going to have before. You never get. There's not a world where you want to get rid of those Unisons. Like you say, if you had the 2-drop Gogeta, ignoring the fact you might black smoke it, chances are if it's turn 4, it's probably got maybe 6 markers on it or whatever. You're ready to get and also again, if you got 4 mana, would you not prefer? I know we're talking about SCRs, but the Z battle cards and what have you, especially in red because they're insane. So for me, it's if I've got a Unison, so if I'm more of a control deck, I'm going to have Baby, which I'd probably prefer to stay on the field. And so I think for that.
Yeah, and another negative that I can find is if you're playing this guy, let's say you play him instead of Baby, let's say you don't win when you play him, something goes horribly wrong. Also with Yamcha now being limited, and you cannot play Widell with this one, you're losing a lot of your defensive power. You still have the +1, definitely, and he's still a blocker, but this compared to Baby Unison, compared to other cards that are out, I think 4 might be harsh, but
I think for me, if it had empowered, I'd chuck it in tier 3. But because it doesn't, obviously, whatever you feel. Because I know a lot of the chat saying tier 4 is harsh. So I will let you be the judge on this one. But I think, like I say, you can't go wrong. Tier 3 or tier 4. I do think tier 4 more, but chat is against me on this one.
Okay. I'm gonna give into peer pressure and put it into tier 3. Like,
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna give into peer pressure and put it into tier 3. However, we might revisit. It's one of those cards that I'm thinking we might revisit it. If we might revisit it once we're done with everything, because I'm still not sure what everything is ending up in tier 3. And if we see, that the things in tier 3 are obviously, so astronomically higher than this card, then, like, it's going down, basically, if that happens, I think. But it's a cool Unison. I don't see how and why you would run it anymore. But we can always say that, like, it saw play when it came out. It was good when it came out, and that period might outweigh what's happening right now. Look outside.
That's just me, giving you grief.
Yeah. And people say complaining doesn't work, lol. You know what's this going to cause? This is going to cause, like, someone dropping in now, see tier 3 and see this guy here and be like, what the fuck? So
yeah, no, I can get the understanding that when it came out, it was probably one of the better reds, but yeah.
Let's go. The character that I didn't know existed is next one.
The secretary.
So you read the Mira secretary. This is a novel, but I'll just sit here and I will listen to your pretty voice.
Thank you. So ultimate double strike, Dark Overwhelm 8, which is kind of a bit of a weird number being 8. It's 2 colorless. The standard permanent that SCRs have got. So if you have 4 more energy, so that's the cost. When this card is played using Dark Overwhelm, play up to 2 battle cards with different card names, energy cost 6 or less, and the Overwhelm skill from the Warp. Now, bear in mind that's not saying just your side of the field, that's saying from the Warp, which is quite interesting. From your Warp, sorry, my apologies. It's got another auto, so basically when your opponent attacks, you can basically choose one of your battle cards with Overwhelm skill and place it in the owner's drop, and it negates the attack. So that's quite nice little effect, and as well, really. But I love this card. I was always a big fan of it like the other people have said in chat, in Dark Broly. I played it a little bit in Vegex after the numerous amount of nerfs. Because obviously 6 or less is great because it would get thwarting, which obviously, as we all know, it was pretty broken at the time. And then it could also get the dual attacker, the Bardock one, which again is banned for a reason. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, but I will be on the side that. On the other side, that I also seen the code in chat, and that is also from my experience. I haven't seen this card being played like once. Like,
haven't you? Okay.
At all. I think this one, in my opinion, this one goes like straight into trash, man. Like this one goes.
Oh no, you can't do that to her.
No.
I think the reason why you didn't see play is because she's BT13, so at the same time you had, obviously, Maya was already out. Is it Maya or Kai? It's Kai, isn't it? Kai of Time.
Yeah.
Kai was out, and I think Pan was also in the same set, or just after, maybe. So yeah, she was fighting for spots between Pan and Kai, and she's never winning that.
Yeah.
Never winning that. Like, there's no chance you're running her over those two. I personally played it a little bit, and I only played it because I didn't at the time own Pan and Kai. So I think that's when you do tend to play it instead, when you don't own those. I think trash is a little harsh for this card. Because I think, like, even now, pay 2 and then you get 2 battle cards that's 6 or less. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
It's a little bit limited now, but I mean, getting Thornton back was great.
Well, now, wait a second. Play 2 with different card names and the Overwhelm skill from your warp. Well, you can get the Broly back. The new one. Doesn't he cost 6?
Yes, 6 he is. Yeah, okay, and then he will warp unless, because don't forget, some of them only use their effects when they're played with Overwhelm. So that's also something. I off the top of my head, I don't remember if Broly only warps if played with Overwhelm, because that's what you want. You want effects that don't care that it's been overwhelmed or hasn't been overwhelmed in this case.
We have some more viewers coming in from Poland. Hi Mateusz and hi David. Welcome. We have a lot to go through. We still have a lot. Okay, so
hello Poland.
I see your argument. Hello Sam. I see your argument, and okay, yeah. Trash is a bit too harsh. I didn't think of the Broly, but then I would just put it in bed. I mean, like it's very low decent. Like,
yeah, I think we go with bad because the reason is because it's never seen play. If it saw play, then you could argue tier 3. But sadly, it came out around the time of the 2 of the best SCRs in the game, and for that reason, it never saw play. It doesn't have any protection, but it does have a nice, cute little negate. And it's Dark Overwhelm 8, which is a little bit awkward. Like, that's why you normally have, like, 6. For example, 6 is a good number. So 8 is a little... I know it's only 2 more, but it's a little bit more weird.
So, yeah, I'm thinking, like... If we put it in tier 3, and I would need to be like very heavily convinced to put this into tier 3, we would really be disrespecting the monkey, man. Like, we would really be
I'm happy with 4.
Yeah, I also think like 4. We have Sam here from Belgium. Hello Sam. And what do we have? Still get you thwarting and can get you 30k the Mira that warps when he attacks. And it can get you a lot of cards. That is true. But yeah, from like never saw play and today it's still, like you said, it had Kai in competition, it had Pan in competition, it still has them in competition. So I'm like, I think tier 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Let's go to the other disappointing one. Like
you know what? This is a card I've never seen play. I don't even know.
Once,
I don't remember what it fully does. To be fair.
Okay, I will read this one. Just a second. The deck planet cooperate with me. Okay, so I'm either blind. 1 second.
Have you got search for rarity, by the way, so it shows you all the SCRs?
Yeah, I have it in search for rarity, but there's like 50 of them. Okay, so the one that was supposed to be super high cost collectible item and then it flopped even on that side, at least in Europe, is Ultimate Dual Attack Goku and Frieza. It definitely has one of the better arts. The art is amazing. The art is iconic. It's super cool. Permanent. You can play this card from any area using skill. And if you have 5 or more mono red energy, reduce its cost in hand by 3. So it's an 8 cost, 5 specified red. And you can cheat him out for 5. Basically. This card can be removed from your battle area by opponent skills. And the third permanent, during battles in which this card attacked, you can't use cards from your hand in combos, and your opponent can activate counters or blocker skills. And then it has an activate main. Jesus, this is like a Bible, man. Like, if your leader is red and you remove this card from the game, deal 1 damage to your opponent. And through all of this word soup, I have never seen it played once. Okay, I might have seen it played. My teammate even played it at least once in some red deck because of this deal 1 damage before. Was it? I think this
Vegeta.
was before Vegeta, yeah.
Yeah, this was set 14, this was.
Yeah, but like I think this one is just. I think no one's feelings are going to be hurt if I say that this one is like literally trash. Like this one is just bad.
I mean, ignoring the cost of it being 5 mana, which is the problem. Like, when I actually read the card, well, when you were reading off the card and I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is actually a pretty good card. Ignoring the energy cost for a moment. Can't be removed. Great. Sadly, you can't combo, which sucks, but with it being dual attack, who cares? The counter blocker stuff is nice, and the activate main to burn one is nice. So I like all of that. The problem is it's 5 mana. Because again, if we compare it to Vegeta, you pay 4 to burn 1 and board wipe.
Yeah.
And -5 your opponent's leader. But I actually like, again, I've just said, ignoring the cost, I actually like everything else about the card, which is a real shame.
Yeah. It's I mean, like, it doesn't have. One of the reasons was also like it doesn't have deflect, but like so you can do. It doesn't have barrier. You can do horrible things to this card. You can really, if you're playing yellow, you can just blank it, and it does nothing.
Yeah.
If you're playing blue, you can God Sealing it. You can you can't use your handing cards in combos, and your opponent can't activate counter or blocker, but there are so many activate battle effects that just stop it dead in its tracks. Worst case, you can the way that my teammate played it is just play it as a 5-cost burn 1.
Yeah.
Just do
but
that.
then now you may as well just use Vegeta to do that.
Yeah. So I think this one I would still put it in trash. I would put this one in trash.
Yeah, I want to say no, but you're right. It's too much energy. Like I say, I keep reading everything else, and I love everything else.
Yeah.
But for 5 mana, you just can't. Like you say, especially when we compare it to Vegeta, like we can't justify it even as tier 4. It's a shame because I really want to love it. I really do.
Yeah. Next one is yours. It is Kibi Tokai.
Let me load this one up. Sorry, I was focusing so much on that card, I forgot about the next one. Okay, so this one's an interesting one. So it's Ultimate Double Strike. It's got an evolve, which I believe you'll never ever do, but you can evolve to pay 3 on a Kaibokai. Is that how you say it? Whatever his name is. Anyway, you're never gonna do it, so don't even worry about it. It's got the standard removal effect. It's got an auto spirit boost. So sorry, it's got 2 things. So it's got an activate main and battle, which is quite interesting. So you pay 2 green. You play this card from your hand, and your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn. So obviously, being activate battle, that's great. The activate main for that effect is irrelevant, other than playing it. It's got an auto spirit boost 2. So when this card is played from your hand, choose one of your opponent's Unison cards and gain control off it. I love this card personally, and one of the most important things that I learned about this card very early on, because it caught me off guard, is you do not need to be a green leader as well. You just need green energy, and I think that's also quite huge as well, because this was obviously before anyone else could have a hatch type effect, other than obviously blue.
Yeah. And then it has the other effect, which is activate main battle, and you just
I've said that effect.
Oh yeah, okay. I like this one. I really like this one, because when it comes to green secret rares, they like, it's your choices. are a bit limiting, but it's still, one of the better green secret rares. Like, if it was in other colors, it would still see play, because like you pay 2 energy, and then stop your opponent from swinging with battle cards. That's good. Like that's not bad. You can steal something with like Spirit Boost 2. It's not relevant anymore that you can like steal something. I mean, you can play it against like blue and steal their Boo with it, for example. What I'm saying, but I don't think that this is a bad one. I honestly think that this is a good one. That this is definitely a good secret rare.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, like it's seeing play in a ton of green decks. Like in a whole bunch of green decks, this is usually one of your go-to green secret rares. So where to put this one? It's for me, it's like a 2 or 3. I mean, like it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. But like, is it SS4 Broly good? That's like this is the big question here. But I want to look at it from a perspective. I just want to filter the secret rares on my end. Just to see what else is there in green. Like, there's not so much choice in green. It's usually the green secret rare that you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, while you're having a quick gander, I definitely think it's tier 2. The reason being is because, again, they activate main. The fact it has deflect doesn't really matter because you still get the hatch effect for battle cards. The auto spirit boost to steal an opponent's unison, that can be really good. Again, depending on what unison you're stealing, like, because also don't forget green can easily kill unisons now.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't work in the same way that it used to.
Yeah.
But if they've just dropped a Boo unison, for example, and swing at you, then you do activate battle on this and swing, steal his Boo. The downside is, again, they can play around it a little bit by attacking into your unison. But I feel like if I'm playing green, other than Sal, if you like, I'm probably playing this one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's better than Boo because it's 1 mana less, and it's got that floodgate effect and a potential to steal. And also it's got less counter abilities.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a very good SCR.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's better than the Boo SCR.
Yeah.
Personally,
I agree. I think like definitely tier 2. Definitely tier 2 with this one. I'm gonna read the next one is Incest 17. It is the Super 17 sibling absorbed. Ultimate.
Just to jump in, you best put respect on this card. I'm telling you right now.
Ultimate deflect critical 40k. 8 cost 1 specified yellow. Very important. Counterplay. Play this card. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and place it under this card. The played battle card has its skills negated for the turn. Permanent. Yeah, if this card is removed, it's the ultimate. Is the SCR permanent. And the other one is if your leader and all of your energy are mono yellow and your opponent has 3 or more energy, reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 7. So what I want to say about Incest 17 is that first off, I'll never stop joking with that name, and I honestly love this one. I love this one. I was always baffled as to like why it's not seeing so much play. Like, guys, like if you're looking for a cheap yellow secret rare, look at this one. Like I love everything about it. It has deflect. It removes something entirely, ignoring barrier. It's a 1 mana counter. It has critical. It's 40k. Like there's not much not to love with this one. So like I really love this one, and I think that this one is one of those secret rares that got like severely overlooked. Like this one is crazy in my opinion. What do you think?
Okay, I'm happy you put respect onto it. That's why I had to jump in, because I wasn't gonna sit here and listen to you saying tier 5, mate.
No, man. Like this
because I so love this SCR, and you're 100% right. I don't know why it doesn't see play, because it's easily one of the top 3 yellow SCRs in my eyes. The weakness of it, and the only weakness of it, is the fact it's all of the text is in the counter window. So the downside is, if the card in question has deflect, it doesn't blank it because it is a bloodlust effect, and it doesn't absorb it. That is the downside with the card. No. So, it can't hit SCRs, for example, because most SCRs have deflect nowadays. Or not all of them, but, a good chunk of them do.
Boss monsters also have deflect.
Yes,
well, so.
That is the downside with this card.
Yeah.
But it's a blood, because I love it also in a rival meta. Because again, you're swinging with a battle card, they rival something, you play this, you bloodlust the card coming in, and then you absorb the card that's attacking, and then then that battle is over. I absolutely love this card, and perhaps the only reason it doesn't see play is because it is all in the counterplay window, so to speak. So it's a case of deflect stops it in its tracks. But yeah.
One of our viewers pointed out what I absolutely agree is also a reason why it's not seeing play is it's the same case with some other secret rares. Like you need, if you're playing yellow, you're comparing this one to Gohan Piccolo, and you're always gonna play Gohan Piccolo instead. But this one, I really love this one. It has everything that you would want from a secret rare for 1 energy. It's insane. I think that I would put it in tier 2. I would put this one in tier 2 easily. In tier 2.
I'll answer where I put it in a second, but I also ran it in Icarus because back in, obviously, Icarus days, people were having to drop, say, Fu to try and win the game. Now, this was a bloodlust effect, so obviously what used to happen was they would drop Fu, you'd bloodlust it, and then that's it, they're dead, because they're fully tapped out, they haven't got the Fu effect, and they're going to cry. Personally, I would put it straight to tier 1. That's how much I'm strongly in love with this card, and even though I think we have to put it in tier 2 because it's never seen play, and the fact is it's never seen play. It's counter window. It's a bit awkward in terms of you have to be fully mono, so I think it has to go in tier 2. But I generally believe it's tier 1.
Yeah, me too. I think the only thing that's really keeping it back is the reasons that you have mentioned. But if you have this one and you're playing a yellow deck, you're running this one in it, you will catch people unprepared with this one. You will catch people unprepared. So tier 2, definitely tier 2.
Yeah. Sorry, I got quite excited with that card because I absolutely love that card.
I really love this card. As I told you, I'm baffled that it never saw play. And it's what? It's 20 something, 30 euros. I think it's not even that expensive anymore. So guys, if you're looking for a good yellow SCR, if you're looking for some alternatives for Gohan Piccolo, take a look at this one. This one can win you games. It has a lot of things that a good yellow SCR should have. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to read the book.
Yeah, I'm a bit biased on this card because I use it in Janemba, but I'll go for it. So it's the SS4 Vermilion Saiyans, and for anyone that plays it on Untap, I can never not see it without sunglasses on. So every time I look at it, but that's another story. So it's got a counter attack. So for each color amongst your battle areas and energy, this goes for you and your opponent, which is the thing that a lot of people forget. You can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send it to the owner's warp. And for each card you send to the warp with the skill, you choose up to one of your leader cards and gets 5k. So for argument's sake, let's say you're blue deck, aka Janemba, your opponent's red, that's 2 colors between you. So I can then, if he has 2 battle cards, I can warp those 2 battle cards, and then I get 10k for the turn. It doesn't negate the attack, but obviously if they attack with a battle card and you kill the battle card, well, warp it, then in a sense it does. One interesting thing that's happened recently is the problem is with the ruling change on SCRs getting removed from game and Z battle cards getting removed, you don't actually send them to the warp. So the problem a little bit, and which kind of has made the card a little bit weaker, is if you're warping Z battle cards, you don't get +5 for them because you're not warping them. They get removed from game instead. So bear that in mind a little bit. Its activate mine only matters in one deck, and that's the the Bardock from the anniversary. I don't know his name. Is it SS4 Bardock? So it's got an activate main. If your opponent has 4 more energy, you play up to 4 black multicolored battle cards with different character names and energy costs of 2 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. Personally, I don't think even in that deck you would use that effect. I think in every deck you only use the counter attack effect. I don't think you would ever use any of the other effects personally.
Yep. I'm also a bit biased on this one.
I wonder why.
It's the boss told me to run this one, So,
did he? Okay.
Yeah. It is the SER for the boss. So, and the thing that as far as extra card SCRs go, this one is the cream of the crop. Like this one is absolutely phenomenal. So, and as we just said, it goes into a lot of decks. It goes into Magenta, it goes into Agents of Destruction, it goes into Prismatic Bardock. You can play it in Janemba, you can play it in a lot of decks. So I think you can even play it in the old Towa Ultimate deck, probably. So, I
think what makes SS4 so good is it fits in pretty much any deck that can't pack a normal SCR in some way. So Magenta being one of them, Janemba being the other, for example. And sometimes especially if you're a more multicolored type deck, you're going to be potentially warping a lot of different colors. So it can do quite a big turn. The downside is the Z battle cards and SCR stuff, as I mentioned earlier, but it is it's got a special place in my heart as well.
I would put it into tier 2. Where would you put it?
Oh, see, I was thinking tier 1.
You're thinking tier 1.
Again, I could be quite biased because obviously when I play Janemba, but then again, I suppose if I'm playing any other deck, I wouldn't run this over it. So I think we've got to look at this as it's an archetype specific SCR.
Yep.
So I think for that reason, yes, we probably put it in the same level as, say, the Broly, because the Broly you could argue is an archetype type SCR. So I think, yes, we have to put tier 2. However, personally, in those particular decks, I think it's tier 0, tier 1 in like those decks. However, I think when you look at it as an SCR as a whole, I think you probably have to, because ultimately, if Magenta or Janemba could run any other SCR, I suppose you wouldn't run this SCR. Yeah. Good point, actually. If you look at it like that, it probably makes more sense, doesn't it? I suppose.
Okay. So, tier 2.
Yeah. I'm happy with tier 2.
Yeah, let's try to speed up a bit. Man, like we've been doing this for 1 hour and 40 minutes now, like, and I think that we're just approaching halfway mark.
Oh, am I talking too much?
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We haven't reached the halfway mark yet.
Okay. Let's iron some of these out a bit quicker then.
So, no, you're not talking. I'm enjoying, but like, yeah, let's go. The next one is the Wicked Saiyans. Oh, I have nightmares of this one. Ultimate Energy Exhaust, 8 cost, green, yellow, 40k, permanent, SCR permanent. The second one, if your opponent is 2 or more energy and your leader is green, yellow, or shares a character name with this card gains dual attack and blocker. And then auto for 2 energy. At the end of the battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand, so basically you're paying 2 energy because its combo cost is 0 for 10k and this effect. Your opponent may choose 4 of their cards and switch them to rest mode. If they do, remove this card from your drop area from the game. If they don't, play this card from your drop area and your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and discards them. And I'm just checking one thing to be absolutely sure. It's if I recall correctly, if your opponent can't choose 4, then both effects happen, right?
No, it gets played.
It gets
so
played.
if they can't rest 4, then it gets played.
Yeah.
But if they could rest 4, let's say they had 5 energy open for argument's sake, then they could rest 4 energy, and then it gets removed from the game.
Yeah. I'm a bit tired, so I'm just misreading it. Anyway, this one, I had nightmares during the Cell Surge period.
Yep.
Yeah, this is, fuck this card. So during Cell Surge, it was a tier 1. Because like Cell Surge was tier 1. Now I'm thinking tier 3.
Yeah, it's a good card. The problem is it's so easy to get removed now.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, you would pay 2 to make them discard 2.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like the dual attack blocker used to be a lot better than it is now. Because obviously now we have Realm of the Gods, max powers, etc. So, I think it's a decent SCR, but I wouldn't put it on par of the tier 2 personally. I think tier 3 feels right.
Yeah. I feel a bit bad like putting it in tier 4, I think, for what it did when it was around. And for what it is right now, I would go with the Gohanks logic and just put it in tier 3 as well.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Because right now, like, just in green or yellow, I wouldn't run it, like, at all right now. But it was good. So yours one is the Radiant Saiyans.
Yeah, so this came out in the same set. Same principle. If your opponent has 2 or more energy and your leader card is either red, blue, or shares a character name with the ones on the card, it gets double strike and crit. And again, same as the other one. Auto pay 2, and again it's 0 cost combo. At the end of battle, when this card is played, when you combo it, you can either play this card from your drop. If you don't, you can choose up to 4 of your opponent's battle cards and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck, and then remove this card from the game. So this is a very aggressive SCR, and I like it a lot. It's a good budget one. So for anyone looking for a budget one, like in say Red Sin or Cooler, I think this is a great SCR for those decks outside of obviously Vegeta. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Double strike crit I think is great, and where like the green one we just saw, the green yellow one, that's just a simple discard to dual attack blocker. This is at least got a bit more meat on it. But do we put it in the same tier 3 as the green? I do think it is better than the green one. However, I don't think, I'm not sure it slides into tier 2,
Yeah.
but it is better than the green one.
I recall seeing it while doing some deck profiles. I recall like people still playing it today, but I'm gonna side with you, and I'm gonna also side with the chat. I think it is definitely tier 3, but it's like definitely like better than the green
it's the
one.
top end of tier 3, isn't
it's
it,
like
basically?
the top end of tier 3. So next off is, you know, like this one is yours, and I think like everyone knows where this one is heading. Straight to trash. Fuck this guy.
So this is Pan, so it's pretty much baby hatch for everything pretty much, but just for battle cards. So for anyone that doesn't know, it's counter attack. If you have 3 or more energy, play this card. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn, and you can't activate counter skills on this copy of this card for the game, which is irrelevant now. And then the best thing is the permanent. So for each battle card in play, so yours and your opponent's, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So that is both as a counter attack and also if you just want to play it naturally. It's got a nice little activate main as well. So pay 1, remove it from the game, and you can basically steal one of your opponent's battle cards and gain control of it. This is tier 0 without question. You can either use it as a beat stick in like AOD, or use it as a counter attack. It doesn't negate the attack, but it means no more battle cards for the turn, and you can steal, boss monster as well. It's great.
I agree. I think that like it's still relevant today. It really warped. It didn't necessarily warp the meta, but it was when it came out. For a very long time, it was like Kai, like the other best secret rare in the game, and we need to put respect on that as well. So I think that it is still the best. I think it is still tier 0. If Kai is tier 0, then so is Pan. So
I think Pan is lower than Kai. Personally, but however, it does depend a little bit on the meta, I think.
Yeah, but like higher than like SSB Kaioken, definitely.
Yes.
Oh, look, another tier 0 card. Okay, I'm gonna read this one. So, oh man, I love this card so much. I wait to debut God Rares, man. So, SSB Vegeta, dual attack, if it has like sparking 25. Ultimate, deflect, triple strike, activate main for 4 energy, you play him, and then you may have one of your opponent's leaders get minus 5k for the turn. How relevant, I don't know, like, because this is just a game ender. Like, of course, it's an effect that happens when you play him. Activate main, remove this card from the game. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards, ignoring barrier. Place them in their drop areas, and then crit one of their lives. This is. I think we can go quickly through this one. This one is just straight tier 0. This is.
There's no question about it. It's straight tier 0.
In my eyes, this is like the baby hatch of red. Like this is straight tier 0. If you're playing red and you have this card, you will basically always be playing this one. Like this one is insane.
Yeah, I think if it didn't ignore barrier, it wouldn't be there. But because it ignores barrier, and red doesn't have a. I mean, there's only 2 red ones really now, but when that came out, it was the only red one.
Next one is you have the honor of doing the last unison one.
Oh god. Okay. So it's a unison. So dual attack blocker, and this one actually has empower. Empower yellow 3 or black 3. So it's got activate main. So you can either pay 4 yellow to bring it out, or it's got activate main. So if your leader card is a black android card, you can play this card from your hand with 4 markers on it. So obviously they wanted to bring it so you could play it in both decks, yellow or androids. It's got a +1, which is an auto when your opponent attacks, switch this card to active. Okay, I guess. It's got -4, activate main, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, KO them, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's cards and switch them to rest mode, and this card gets 15k power and double strike for the turn. Obviously, it can rest energy, which is fine, but I can't imagine a world where I ever want to play this card.
No. I saw it only once. And that's it. I saw it once when I was at the PeerCon event. My good friend Marek played it. He played Finn, and he was like, well, like it's thematic and it makes like some sense, so he put it in there. But like other than that, like I think I wouldn't even put this one into tier 4. I think this one goes straight into trash. Like I've never ever seen this one being played, like ever. So yeah.
No, it's
I'm
bad.
not going to disrespect the monkey by putting this one into tier 4. I think that this one is just trash, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, you can play
so.
it. It is playable, but it's still bad. So, we have Miyamoto saying it's a budget option for Rogue Yellow. That is true, but Incest 17 is a better budget option for Yellow.
I was gonna say that. Super 17, 100%.
I just can't. I can't get behind this card. Next one, Kai, the other Kai. I have seen more play than Rebellion.
Oh, the servant one.
Yeah, the servant. So ultimate, double strike, servant, 8 cost, 1 specified black, 40k. Activate battle for black. If you have 3 or more energy, you play it from your hand. And then activate main battle for 1 if your leader is black, and you remove this card from the game. Until the start of your next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards or unison cards unless they choose one in their life and place it in their drop area each time. So, well, this, honestly, this is another one of those that kind of confused me, because like this one it's very forgettable, and it has no protection. It has servant. You can activate battle it for 1, and then you can also immediately pay the other one, and then you're protected from battle cards or unisons. Like, it's not a bad effect. It's a strong effect. It's a semi hedge effect. Like it's like Buu's Kibi Tokai is like hedge semi effect. But like I've never seen this one played, and like it's competing with Kai, it's competing with Pen. I think it
is decent. I think it was better before they changed how SCRs always get removed, because obviously there was some interactions where you could bottom deck it, put it servant, and then play it again, and do things like that. Obviously that's not applicable anymore. And I have lost to this SCR before when I couldn't attack any more times because I only had 1 life at the time. But so I think it's on the same level as like the Radiant Saiyans and like that kind of stuff. It's definitely better than the Secretary. Because even if anything, it's a pay 1 swing 50k double strike at leader. Like, if nothing else, like, and because it's activate main and not battle, you can use it as your last attack as well, if you really had to. And then let's say you fail to kill him, you then use the... Sorry, my apologies, no, the bringing out is the activate battle, and then the activate main is the warping effect. So you swing with it, 50k double, and then let's say he's not dead, you then remove it, and you got... Or even if they take it and they're down to 1 life, you pretty much know that only a leader's swinging that turn. And I think that's great.
I think this is easily like tier 3. It's not a bad card, and Yeah, it's not a bad card, so it's definitely like tier 3. We're
Yeah,
not doing.
I think it's the higher end of tier 3.
Yeah, yeah. We might do later, from left to right, but I don't usually bother doing that. So
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, look, it's garbage. So, Invaders, wow. Man, like, I've covered this card with, like, a pretty damning thumbnail. And I've heard so many opinions on this one. Okay, 1 green, extra card, Ultimate Battle. Activate Battle. If your leader card is a green card or a Frieza clan card and your opponent has 3 or more energy, your opponent discards 2 from their hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost less or equal to the number of Unison cards and Frieza clan cards in all leader areas, in all areas. And KO them and KO it and then remove this card from the game. I really don't like this one. I said it at the start of the year, and I'm still standing by the idea that this is like absolute trash. It's garbage, and like you shouldn't be playing it. Like, you shouldn't be playing it. And if you're thinking, Damien, Peter, which SCR can I buy on budget? You can buy literally a whole bunch of them for less money than this one costs. So just this is trash.
Buy Lineage.
Yeah, like this is. I'm putting this in trash. Do you agree? Or
yeah, I think so. Yeah. I like the board removal sounds really good, but again, it doesn't ignore barrier. Like. I like the board removal, but I mean, for discard 2 and you don't get a body, nah.
I'm reading the chat. I see like Miyamoto here saying, to be fair, I would rather play without an SCR than use this one. I highly agree.
Yeah. Oh, there is, because also as well, there is also good tactics to not play an SCR as well.
Yeah. Well, Peter, you have the honors.
Easiest one.
Yeah. I'll just preemptively put it in like tier 0, so you can.
I'll explain why you put it in tier 0. Basically, it's an ultimate. It's a super combo, so it uses a slot, but it is, in a sense, initially it's 5 costs for 30k combo. But for each card your opponent has in rest, you reduce it in your hand by 1. So most of the time it's a 0 for 30k. Standard SCR removal. If your leader is basically a yellow leader, or Son Gohan Adolescence, or a Piccolo, at the end of battle, when this card is used in a combo from your hand, you play this card from your drop. And then it's also, on top of that, got a great effect where when this card is played or attacks, and it's not once per turn, so draw 1 and then choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards or battle cards and switch it to rest. So every single yellow deck runs this SCR and will for most likely forever. It's... Yeah, I must admit I was one of the bad people that when I first saw this card thought it was a bit crap. I'm not gonna lie, only because I didn't like the idea of using a super combo slot and not drawing cards. But after using it, I was like, oh wow, this is broken.
yeah, this is broken. This is like easy tier 0. Easy.
Yeah. This is probably one of the this card I can't see getting power creeped. Like, how do you go? Like, obviously, other than maybe double, like, how do you go higher than that? Like,
so I'm thinking, like, well, when I said, well, let's speed up a bit, I didn't know that, like, the cards themselves put themselves in this magical order where, like, obvious trash, obvious tier 0, and now we're back to obvious trash again. So the next one is Auto Z. I I really don't want to read this one. Like,
I don't mind. I'll do it.
Okay.
So it's a 1-cost activate battle, and basically it says do not play this card. But if your opponent has 3 or more energy, you draw 2, which is nice. Pay 1, draw 2, sure. And then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards for any cost less than or equal to the number of Unison cards. Son Goku, Son Gohan, Childhoods, Vegetas, Trunks Futures, basically all the crew. Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chatsu cards in all leader areas, energy, battle, unison, drop areas, warp. Send them to the owner's warp and then remove this card from the game. So in the right deck, it basically means you're removing any battle card you want, but again, it does not ignore barrier. And that is the crucial thing. It's great that it's an activate battle because it's kind of, you could argue, a better lineage, which I'm a big fan of. But yeah, it doesn't see play, and it never will. And it's a shame that it doesn't ignore barrier. Is kind of my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. Oh, I think that, like, I definitely agree, and like I said, my initial opinion doesn't change. I think that this is like straight up trash. I think this was meant for the yellow Unison Goku deck, and then like it never saw play even in that. So I think like this is just garbage. And then we once again have another like super good one. Okay, I'll go over this one. It's, oh man, this one is legitimately insane. SS4 Vegeta, a light in the dark, ultimate, deflect, 8 cost, 2 red, 40k, overwhelm 6. Your leader is a mono red Saiyan card, and then it says, Auto, if you have 4 or more mono red energy, when this card is played, your opponent reveals their hand, you choose up to 1 battle card with 35k or less from it and your opponent discards it, then choose up to 1 of your mono red leaders, and until the start of your next turn it gets plus 10k and this card gains quadruple strike. This is one of those, this is like obviously one of the best red SERs in the game. Like obviously one of the best SERs in the game. It's seeing a ton of play. It looked spectacular when it was revealed. It ended up being absolutely spectacular. It's super scary. A lot of people are seeing it in various Gogeta builds. I think that a lot of people are sick to death of seeing it, and I think that like this one is, in my opinion, it's like easily tier 0. Maybe tier 1, but like I think like more tier 0. I still prefer the Vegeta over this one, but like that's my preference.
The key is though, this, like, the only time the Vegeta will start picking up steam, other than obviously the obvious is when it's not a Saiyan leader, obviously, is when we start going into multicolored formats. That's the only time I think it will disappear or go. Like, for example, Sin has to run Vegeta because he can't run this. But if Sin could run this, he would.
Yeah.
Like, you only run Vegeta when you can't run this, realistically. The fact it's an overrealm is crazy as well, because it also then shows, like, everything about this card is absolutely nuts. And the fact is, it gets quad strike. And any time you can look at your opponent's hand, what's that? You've got no negates. Okay, let's get rid of your negates. And now I've got quad strike.
Yeah.
Not only that, and this is also what was good about the Broly that we put in tier 2, sorry. Your opponent then has 10k on next turn. So not only is it an amazing offensive SCR, but it's the fact your leader then gets a boost. So defensively, even if you decide to go all in that turn, you've got 10k on your leader. That's huge.
Yeah, and hand knowledge. Like
hand knowledge is the key.
Yeah. But if this is tier 0, like there's this guy just like tier 0, like amazing. You have another yellow one, the second god rare.
You know what? This one's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
I'll read it and then we'll go into it. But so it's deflect, double strike, dual attacker. So good stats so far. It's got an activate main, pay 3 energy, colorless. But it is a yellow card for what that's worth. If your leader card is a Saiyan card and your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand and choose up to one of your opponent's cards and switch it to rest mode. So it's good against like energy, but I wouldn't say that really matters a great deal, but it is something to bear in mind. The real juiciness is its activate main after that. So remove this card from the game, and then you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier and KO them. And then during your opponent's next turn, they can only attack 1 time with battle cards. So it's a weird one because it's got good stats. It's a double strike, dual attacker, deflect. So that's perfect. It comes out for 3 mana, which is fine. And because it's colorless, it'll run in any Saiyan, which makes it flexible.
Yeah.
And it rests a card. Well, rests a card. So leader, unison, energy, anything. And the removal, the activate main to remove it, and then it's like a kind of pan type effect, is pretty decent as well. I've not personally used it, and I've not seen anyone play it against me. So I don't know its value realistically, but when I look at it, it looks pretty decent. Like tier 1 decent, personally. However, I haven't used it myself, and I think, again, most of the other colors have better SCRs, so that's why I'm thinking tier 1 initially, but I kind of think maybe tier 2 as well. I don't know what the chat thinks or what your opinions are.
Well, I'm thinking like it's like some other SCRs on this tier list, it's overshadowed. It's definitely, I mean, like it's never ever going to see play in yellow instead of Gohan Piccolo. Nothing ever is gonna see play in yellow instead of Gohan Piccolo.
No way.
Unless it's like extremely specific. Reading it on paper, it's strong. Reading it on paper, it has amazing abilities when you read it on paper. It's great. But just like you, I've never ever seen this one played. It could be that it's just overshadowed by other SCRs. Like, it could be that. It could be that we are just experiencing this situation where red is so dominant that nothing else really sees play. And, now you have blue as well, but you have the SCR slots for all of those decks already figured out. So it might be that this one just doesn't have an opportunity to shine. That's it's not played a lot, but But what to do with this one? I think on paper that it's amazing. I also think that there is a very realistic reason, which I still cannot completely pinpoint, is why is it so amazing and it is not seeing play. It's not being talked about. I've never seen it like once. So for that reason, I'm skeptical about putting it in tier 1. I'm looking more at tier 2 for this one.
See, the only reason I was thinking tier 1, bro, is literally because it's deflect, double strike, dual. Like, that interests me. However, against certain decks, because it's not got barrier, chances are it's probably going to potentially die. So, yeah, I think we put it maybe on the same level as Super 17 then, I guess. I think, yeah, if it had barrier as well, then yeah, tier 1. But I think because it's 3 energy, I think, yeah, tier 2 is probably where we have to land with it. And that seems to be what chat is saying as well.
Well, next one is pretty easy. Next one is... Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
tier
man.
0.
next one is tier 0. It's Beast Gohan. Everyone loves Beast Gohan. This one is tier blue. This is tier blue. Ultimate.
I feel like they dropped the ball by not having this as a god rare though.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Well, it's gonna be a god rare eventually when they make a red one, So, Son Gohan Beyond the Ultimate 8 cost, free blue. Ultimate, of course, 40k auto. When it's played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unisons, ignoring barrier, return them to its owner's hand, and if your opponent has more cards in hand than you, which they will because you just bounced everything, place one card from your opponent's life at the bottom of their deck, like unpreventable 1 damage. Activate main/battle once per turn. Choose up 2 of your cards, switch them to active mode, and if you switch this card to active mode, by this skill it gains critical for the turn. And finally, activate main for 2 blue. If your leader is blue, you have 3 or more energy, and you place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck, you get to play it. This one is clearly tier 0.
Yeah, the only downside is you lose 2 cards, but outside of that, it doesn't have deflect, which sucks a bit, but
it reads like Vegeta. Basically, you wipe the board, you semi-wipe. Vegeta wipes it in a different way, but you still get rid of the board. You deal 1 unpreventable damage to them, and then if that doesn't kill them, it can cause so many shenanigans with activate main battle. You can restand him, you can restand your leader, you can restand whatever you want with this guy. This guy is insane. It's tier 0.
Yeah, I think the fact it's activate battle as well makes it even more insane. Because that obviously a lot of people might not have clicked in that you can do it on your opponent's turn to then untap energy or untap whatever. And I think that's a huge overlooked thing. Even I didn't realize when I first looked at it, because I didn't that kind of stuff doesn't exist outside. And I saw it and I'm like, wow. Untap energy in blue. Even more. Yes, please.
We are at 29 viewers. Hello, everyone. We are almost done. We've been doing this for 2 hours now. Let's go to your... I think you've talked about you've mentioned this card at least once, so you can...
Yeah, good old Cellmax.
You can talk about Cellmax.
Sure. So, it's quite an interesting one, because obviously we all know the old Cell, but this one, Ultimate Quad Strike. Quad Strike's always good. Permanent. If you have 3 or less energy, this card can't attack or be removed from your battle areas. I think that's really cool. So, if a skill would remove this card from the battle area, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, KO them, and then place 1 card from your opponent's life in the drop. So it's very similar to the Gohan SCR, but kind of more of as a counter, in a way. Activate main, pay 1 green. If your leader's green, play this card from your hand. So in theory, you can bring it out turn 1, technically, but technically it can't do anything until after turn 3. But I think the fact you could bring it out turn 1 and then just let it sit there is kind of cool. And obviously if you remove it, it just board wipes and crits alive. I think that's great. And the fact it's got Quad Strike is crazy good. I love Quad Strikes.
Yep, I definitely agree. For 1 energy, it's a Quad Strike. It's huge. It punishes your opponent for removing it. It's Quad Strike for 1 energy. There's not much more to say. And
exactly.
As far as SCRs goes, this one is actually very cheap at the moment. It's 90 euros. Okay, it's not a budget SCR, but as far as SCR goes, this one is relatively cheap for everything that it does, man. So I think, where would you put it? I think I'm gonna agree with you, but I want to hear where would you put this one?
It's a difficult one because it's only just starting to see play, and I think we've got to realistically compare it to Sal. which we'll talk about later. But it makes this is a lot more flexible than Cell. I want to put it in tier 1 is my initial reaction, just because it's also got an amazing board wipe and it crits a life as well. So it's like the only way to kill this card, without losing or hurting yourself, other than blanking its skills, obviously, is literally combo past 40k.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, that ain't going to happen. So what's going to happen is he's going to swing every single turn with a quad strike. Now, the downside or the bright side to this card is it also potentially stops your opponent playing certain cards, like Kale, because Kale is choose all of your opponent's battle cards, if my memory's correct.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hesitant to play that card potentially, because if they do, they're going to crit a life. And I think that's very dangerous. And it's a quad strike, which is crazy. Swing into a Unison, instantly kill it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, even though green has no problem against Unison. So I think it's tier 1. I don't think it's tier 0, personally. But I think tier 1 is fair. What were you thinking? Were you thinking the opposite or similar?
I don't think it's tier 0. I think that
I would agree with that.
it has the common issue of being green and requiring a green leader. I think that some time will pass before we see this one actually being played a lot, because now we are in competitive down period, and like by the time we get back up with competitive, it's going to be like set BT 20 and then, because like the current green decks aren't good enough, but like maybe we will see them in the future. But everything on text says, like, in my opinion, this is the best green secret rare. It's better than Kibi Tokai, and I think that I would put this one into tier 1 definitely. I put this one into tier 1. So let's go, not tier 0 definitely, but tier 1.
Yeah, I don't think it quite, like, I think again, I'm jumping the gun, but Sal unerrated would be tier 0, but not. But like, I don't think Sal Max is anything but tier 1.
Yeah. Okay, I have Cumber. So I mean, Evil Saiyan. 8 cost 40k. So another one that just came out. Ultimate Auto. If your opponent's life is at 2 or more. When this card is played, you look through your life and send up to through your opponent's life and send up to 1 card with an energy cost of 7 or less to the warp, and then your opponent shuffles their life, and then you play 1 battle card with an energy cost of 7 or less from their warp in your battle area with its skills negated for the game. Okay, it negates the skills for the game. That's a big one. Auto, once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card with an energy cost 7 or less, you may send one of your battle cards to its owner's warp. If you do, gain control of that card. So you can play around this effect, but then you're not playing optimal plays. So you need to keep this in mind if you're playing against this card. Activate main for 2 black. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand or warp, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send it to its owner's warp. So there's a lot of text on this one. It does a lot. First off, you play him for 2 energy, and then when you play him, you get to warp something. And if your opponent is at 2 or more, you are basically getting rid of 1 of their lives. So once again, we're having another secret rare, which is like an uninteractable get rid of 1 life. Then like you get something back from the warp with skills negated for the game. The for the game part is not the best, but still you're getting something of theirs. Worst case, you're getting a big beat stick. Auto once per turn is very powerful, and as I've said, it's going to force your opponents to play unoptimal plays. because now you're placing them in a situation where they need to play, they cannot play on curve anymore, and they cannot play, as I've said, optimal plays. They need to sacrifice something first and then go back to their game plan. And not only that they're sacrificing something, you are getting that something. So it's a scary card. It's a very, very scary card. I think that it's one weakness, and I wouldn't even call this a weakness. I mean, of course, it has absolutely no protection. If this card had like Deflect or Barrier, it would be so stupid broken. It would be like immediate tier 0 forever. So, I mean, like if it had Barrier, can you imagine this thing with Barrier? But
yeah, I think I prefer it have Barrier than Deflect personally.
Yeah, of course. So you can just force them constantly.
Yeah.
Oh man, but like,
again, that's why everyone needs to understand that Activate mains. They're so much stronger than autos.
Yeah.
And
there's
a lot of text, isn't there, on this one? Absolute tons.
It's a whole lot of text. I think that it's definitely overlooked, and the only reason why it's currently overlooked is because black is the worst color in the game. However, if black comes back, the moment black comes back, everyone's gonna be looking at this card again, because this card is it's bonkers. It's insane.
Yeah, looking at your opponent's life is huge.
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's good that you get rid of one as well, but like knowing what's in your opponent's life is useful, because obviously if you see an SCR in there, yes, you can't get rid of it. However, you know that the SCR there, it's a bit like hand knowledge, but with your opponent's life, and then there's also, I mean, because how much energy you need? 3. I wonder if there's probably no weird situations where there's a Dragon Ball or anything left in there, because they should have taken it by then. So, yeah.
But you can, it's information. You cannot kill. Of course, you cannot kill your opponent with this. That would be just insane. But you can put them on 1 life. You're putting them in a game loss situation if anything swings at them. If you're playing this when they're on 2 or more. If you're playing this when they are on 2. If you play this anytime earlier when they have more than 2, you get super valuable life information. So, I mean, here's the thing. I think this one is... Yeah, I think we are once again looking like a Bardock situation where like, okay, this is powerful on paper. I think we're more looking at Cell Max situation. We're like, okay, this is super powerful on paper, but it's not seeing play. And it's not seeing play because black is just awful at the moment. But if I were playing black, if black came out, I would definitely be playing this card. Like, I think this is going to be the go-to black SCR. Like, yeah.
I mean, the more I read it, it's like you say, I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work out if I had, with access to Pan and Kai, like, because obviously that's in the vacuum of black.
Yeah.
What would I be playing? Like, if I was playing, and that's a hard one to judge. I think with this card, which is a bit different to Sal, because with Sal Max, there's only so many greens. We have this, and we've got to compare it to Pan and Kai.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because black is nowhere around at the moment.
Yeah.
So now, when I look at this, everything to me says it's crazy broken.
Yeah.
Because let's ignore attack. So for 2 mana, I'm warping one of your battle cards, ignoring barrier, which is nice. And then looking for your life and warping one. And then I'm going to play something that's 7 or less from your warp. Now, ultimately, the probably biggest stats that's going to be is 30k. But I suppose that really doesn't matter. Now, so that's what 2 mana is going to get you. Now, if he plays a battle card, you can get rid of one of yours and steal it. Obviously, he'll still get the autos because he's played it on his turn. But stealing like a card or getting rid of like a Z battle card, for example, is really good. But then you're losing a battle card and you're not technically gaining a battle card because the Z battle card's going to get removed.
Yeah.
However, it stops it going. So I don't think that part of the skill matters. I think it's the rest that matters, and I think that's a decent effect. I don't feel like it's tier 0.
Yeah, no.
I kind of want to go between tier 1 and tier 2.
Yeah, I think that I'm. It's not a tier 0 card. It's not. But tier 1 or tier 2, the only reason why it's so difficult to judge is because Black isn't going to come back because of this card. Black needs serious help to come back. And like when it does, this card is, I mean, like, unless we get like even a stronger card than this one, it's going to be seeing play. So that can happen like next set, it can happen in 2 years. But so we need to judge it not looking at the color itself, because like who knows when Black is going to be remotely good again. But I think that like this is the only problem. Something is telling me, because all of its effects tier 1, because its effects are insane. Yep. But can we call it like a high competitive card when we're talking about a color that doesn't see any play, and who not even on like it sees play on rogue levels at casuals, when like people are playing fun decks? That's where Black is at the moment. So can we like really call like a high competitive SCR? Like I want to pretend that like Black doesn't exist for a moment, and then just think of it like in a vacuum. How would I rate this card? And if we go by that, I would definitely put it into tier 1. But the color is what's holding it back, in my opinion.
The one advantage is at least it's 7 or less, and it's not restricted to a battle card.
Yeah.
At least that's good. I think we go with the side of tier 1, but it's low tier 1. The reason I'm thinking this is because the on-play auto bit doesn't matter. That bit is pretty much trash. But I'm paying 2 to basically warp 1, look at your life, get rid of a card, pretty much. And I think the knowledge of what's in your life is very important.
Yeah.
And it's a shame it's only an ultimate and not double strike. So I think, but then as I say it more, I think tier 2, because would I not just prefer Broly? This is so difficult. It's very low tier 1 if it's tier 1.
Yeah.
Like it's very like borderline, like should be tier 2, but would be nice.
Okay.
Any opinions from chat? I know we saw tier 1.
Yeah.
Unless that was for one of the others.
I don't know. There was like tier 0 for something. I think that to be fair, from the text alone, it sounds like a tier 1 card. But we don't have. We literally don't have data for this card.
You know what, bro? Let's go tier 2. The reason we're going to go tier 2, I reckon, is because the auto the second auto it's got is barely usable. It's got no double strike or anything. Where at least with Cell Max, it's got a board wipe, which is good, and a crit, and it's quad strike. This one, I know, fair enough. Or everyone's now saying, as I say, the reason rationale to go tier 2, everyone's now saying tier 1. So Sod's law a little bit, but the reason I was thinking tier 2 over tier 1 is because it's got nothing. No dual attack, no double strike, no barrier, no deflects, no nothing.
Well, Daniel is giving us a good argument. You can play this card from the warp.
Oh yes, you can, from hand or warp. Okay, let's leave it in tier 1 then.
Yeah, okay, it's going into tier 1.
Yeah, it is very much low tier 1. it's pretty much. But yeah, I think the playing from warp is big because it allows you to play it. Like if you discard it and then warp it through an overrealm, you can then play it. So I like the fact you've got more options to play it now.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah, I'm more of a fan of that now.
Well, it's your turn. Ultimate Force SSB Vegito.
Why are you giving me the crap ones? So, this could have been good. It's a set 2 SCR, so it's very old. It basically has no autos, it's just permanents. So, Ultimate, it's got Union Patora, which is for what, 3, 4, 5 red energy. Son Goku and Vegeta. And you place this in active mode on top of the 2. So Union Patora, for anyone that doesn't remember, they have to be on the field. And it's triple attack, triple strike. So triple attack, triple strike is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that is pure fire.
Yeah.
And obviously there's that Vegito 5-drop red from anniversary that brings that out for 4 mana, I want to say.
Not sure. Possible.
Yeah, I think it's 4 mana, play it on top, or 5. I don't remember. But either way, triple attack. If you say triple attack, triple strike, that is pure fire.
Yeah.
Like, that is godly. The downside is it's 5 mana with no deflect.
Yeah, it's. I think this
and that's only if you Union Patora as well.
Yeah. And I think this is trash. Like triple attack, triple strike, amazing. I've never seen it play. One thing that I'm going to say is I like the artwork of this one.
Yes,
like, it has amazing artwork. But other than that, I think that this one is straight garbage. Like this one.
Like I say, I'm pretty sure you can bring it out for 4 mana if my memory's correct with the anniversary card. But I mean that doesn't make it better. But I mean, at least 4 mana is a little bit better. But if we're looking at Ape is dual double for 4 mana.
Yeah.
And it's got an auto effect that can come in handy. So it's not better than Ape.
No. Let's not disrespect the Ape. So it's trash, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it has to go in the trash because there's no way to cheat it. If it was pay 5 from hand, it would be a little bit better. But yeah, also if we put in the Frieza Goku in trash, I guess we've got to put this in trash too.
Well, Peter, I have bad news for you. I think that we're really playing with garbage now. Like, we're really scraping the very bottom of the barrel. Distant Descendant, Son Goku Jr. Oh my god. 8
Remember when this card went flying up in price because of the bloody Goku lineage leader?
Yeah.
It was like worthless, and then all of a sudden everyone was trying to like sell it for so much money.
8 cost, 4 specified yellow, 40k ultimate triple strike. Auto. When this card attacks, look at top 7 cards from the top of your deck. Choose as many Goku's lineage from among them as you like and combo with them, then shuffle your deck. If 5 or more cards, if 5 or more of the cards you combo with using this skill, have different card names. Choose 2 of your opponent's life and place them into drop area. This is so bad.
Yeah, but if you get the effect off, bro, like, it's so amazing.
yeah, but like, you know,
it is trash.
I went through this card right before the stream when I was downloading them, and I was like, well, I mean, like, this is cool, because I didn't, because the first time I've missed that they have to be from this skill.
Yeah,
like, this is just straight up garbage. This is just trash.
Yeah, because the leader brings it out for 4 mana, I think.
Yeah, you can cheat it out for 4.
And I must admit, somebody did actually combo with enough from that skill and burn me for 2 before, so I can't, obviously it's niche and shit, but it's gonna be trash tier, isn't it? It's a great card, like on pay, like the idea, like I think if it worked from your hand in terms of what you combo with, that'd be great. But
but like this is like really bottom of the barrel trash, because like you need to hit 5 Goku's lineage on the top of your deck. Needs to be 5 Goku's lineage cards, and then they need to have different names.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I mean, you can swap into it, but again, you're looking at 4 or 5 mana or whatever, and yeah, it's
well,
like,
yeah. You have the Mira. Good luck.
Mate, I love this card
you
so
love
much.
This card.
I love this card because of what it used to do. Not so much what it is today. Me and my brother, on a side note, used to consider this card as what we call bait card. So we'd have 5 mana, and then, like, this would technically, if it land, go for game. But obviously, it meant fully tapping out because it cost 5 mana to bring out. So it used to always do the opposite. So instead of winning you the game, it lost you the game. But yeah, so me and my brother count this as the bait card. But basically, it's a 10-drop ultimate, Dark Overwhelm 7, and it's 5 mana to bring out. It's triple strike. And then when this card attacks, your opponent reveals their hand, and you choose up to 4 battle cards from it and combo with it in your combo area. So it is amazing because you look at your opponent's hand and basically make them discard 4 cards in a sense. And then obviously, because the battle cards, you would get certain autos like draw a card or whatever. It is a bait card. It's too expensive. You're gonna die, but if they don't negate it, you're gonna win. You're probably gonna win. But 5 mana, it's not happening. But I absolutely love this card, especially in Kid Coup. Like this has a special place in my heart, but more for the wrong reasons, I guess.
Yeah. Just want to jump in. Like Kaido says, is that normal that I don't see Goku SS4 from BT3? Yes, it is, because while Peter was talking, I was frantically going through the cards that we selected, and I figured that I forgot to import that one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
To look out, bringing quality content.
The outlook bringing quality content. Because I'm a professional. So.
We'll have that as an honorary mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for pointing that out, chat, because we would have been none of the wiser.
Yeah. Where are we putting the Mira?
Sadly, it's trash.
Yeah.
I mean, like say, it's got a special place in my heart, but it is pure trash.
I'll need to type down a comment later after the video, so let's because we don't have SS4 here, but let's just
I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, let's just talk about it briefly. Yeah. So is there a way for me to import it? No.
Which one is it?
It is the one that got reprinted in the anniversary box. The
set 3.
Hyper Evolution one. Yeah, the red one. So Hyper Evolution SS4 Goku.
Oh, yeah, the one that in the anniversary box.
Yeah, I completely missed that one. EX Evolve for 1 red, place 2 cards from your hand into your drop area. Son Goku GT with a cost of 6 or more. Ultimate 40k. Auto when this attacks, it gets plus 5k for the duration of the turn. Then, if its card's power is 60k or more, it deals 1 damage to your opponent's life. And activate main, place 2 red cards from your hand in the drop area, switch this card to active mode. That's what it does.
Yeah, I remember the one, because it used to be used in Triple Flash.
Bad? Trash?
It's fine. I think I don't really want to put it in tier 4 just because it's only playable in like a small area. Like you swing with the 5-drop, or you have a load of battle cards with the 5-drop who swings, and then you evolve on top of that. But then you can't do anything till the turn after with the 6. So it's and also unless you've got a big hand, it fails. And you could do a lot more. So I guess we have to put it in trash. But I would like it in tier 4, but it's not good enough to be a tier 4.
So Goku is trash, everyone. I'll write this down in the comments after the video is published and everything. So next up is I'll talk about the one that we actually have, and I like this one. I've tried to do magic with this one. So basically, the Miraculous Fighter SS3 Gogeta, 8 cost, 4 blue, 40k, EX Evolve. So I'm looking at this text. Place all cards from your hand other than this card in your drop area. Blue Gogeta with an energy cost of 7 or more. Unfortunately, that blue Gogeta isn't played anymore, it's banned. Critical Union Fusion for 6, which is super high. Ultimate Deflect. Activate main. Sparking 15. Choose one Goku and one Vegeta card from your drop area and place them at the bottom of your deck. Switch this card to active mode. So I love this one. I think that probably a whole bunch of other people have tried to make a deck with this one where you just abuse and keep swinging and restanding with him, because that effect is so cool. But today it's just the unfortunate truth is that I think it's trash. I think it's definitely trash, and the unfortunate fact is that the Gogeta that this one is supposed to work with isn't around anymore, and that Gogeta by itself already wins you the game when you play him. So I think it's super bad. I think it's trash. It's a fun card. It's really a fun card, but it just doesn't have the tools to work with anymore. And the tools that it used to work with, it just win the game by themselves. So I think it's trash. What do you think?
Yes, and also because does it only need a blue? Yeah. Or the thing is, if there was another tier of unplayable in every way, shape, and form, this would be the lowest, because you can't even. There's not a six. I just checked. There's not a single 7-drop blue that's legal.
Really?
That this can Union Fuse. Evolve on. So paying that much for Union Fusion is not going to happen. And this to me is unplayable in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah, this is. No cards found. Oh my god. Yeah. This one.
There's only one, and there's one red, but it needs the blue, so that's irrelevant.
Yeah, there is another Gogeta target, but that card is trash as well.
It needs to be a 7-cost blue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be a 7-cost blue, and there's nothing.
There's only one, Gogeta.
Yeah.
Hero Revive.
The best card in the game. So,
Yeah.
Well, you get the easier one. You get to talk about Broly.
I mean, I was a fan of Broly when it first came out, but ultimately you got to be at 1 life. It's not good anymore. See, at least with the red one, you don't need to be at bloody 1 life and all this conditions. So ultimately, do I dare say trash? Will chat hate me, or will you hate me? But I feel like I would rather run no SCR than run this SCR. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, correction. The 1 life is only for the discarding effect, but that's the best part about it. I suppose it's still dual duel. Let me just reread it. Oh yeah, I should probably say that to people. Double strike, dual attack. When one of your green battle cards at entry cost 7 or more is removed from battle area by a skill or KO'd, activate this skill so you may choose all cards other than this card from your hand and place them to the drop area. If you do play this card from your hand, and then auto, when this card attacks, if your life is at 1, your opponent chooses all cards in his hand and places it in the drop.
Yeah.
So it sounds great, but again, with barrier blockers, with unisons, with blocker, it doesn't have any purpose. So I personally want to put it straight into trash.
I want to digress and just go quickly back to Gogeta. The chat is right. Stoner Nan is right. There is one target for the Gogeta SCR because it doesn't say 7, it says 7 or more. And there is an 8 drop that came out in the same archetype as Paikuhan.
Is it 7 or more, is it?
Yes.
Oh, the one that goes over the 5 drop, is it?
Yes.
For
So
icon stuff.
I mean, it's still trash, but like... So you're saying Broly SCR trash. Thanks, Stoner9, for pointing this out.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. The thing is, you're discarding your hand.
Uh-huh.
And if you're at 1 life, you've probably got worse things to worry about. And you need a 7 or more that's removed by a skill or KO. Now, realistically, only Broly Starter really did that.
Yeah.
Like, this has never seen play. Well, correction.
It
has seen play outside of Broly Starter. Gohan used to abuse it. But I just. Do you maybe put bad?
Yeah, I don't think. I want to put this in trash. I really want to put this into trash. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna put this into trash.
Yeah, I think with blocker negates and everything else we have nowadays, like, even if you discarded my hand, but I had a blocker negate in my hand, I'm not dying. And it's only double duel, so...
29 people. Hello, everyone. We are almost done. We've been doing this for almost 3 hours now. Oh my god, like... So, let's
£200 an hour, please. Thank you.
Yep. Let's see. The next one is for me, and that is the Buu one. Arcane Absorption Majin Buu in set 6.
Yeah, this was a good one in its time.
Triple Strike Ultimate. Activate main for 6. Choose one Evil Wizard Babidi card in your drop or warp. Play the chosen card, then play this card from your hand on top of that card. On top of the card you play with this skill. So you play him for 6.
Yeah.
Bottom. When you play this card, if there is an Evil Wizard Babidi card under this card, choose up to 5 Agents of Destruction from your drop or warp and play. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Hey, this was fucking great at this time. It's just like you just flood the field with all agents and distractions. It was great because there was also a Buu chain that was decent, and I forgot how it all works because it's been such a long time. Yeah. I loved it back in the day. It was kind of a cheesy little deck, but because again you didn't have floodgate you gotta think of the era as well, BT6. Like, if they attack you 5-6 times that turn, like, you couldn't do really anything about it. Yeah. There was no, like, if my memory's correct, there was no Topo. Well, yeah, because that came out in Draft Box. There was no, like, floodgate. Well, I don't remember a single floodgate, like, card in the game, really, at that time.
Yeah, so at that time, I didn't follow the game as much at that time. So I'm going to go, but from what I'm reading, yeah, it seems extremely powerful. So I'm going to let you pick for this one.
Yeah, the problem is it's absolute trash now.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was good, it was only like good niche-wise. So I still would I'd put it in trash now. And I think even though it was a bit, it was good in its time, I think it will never see play ever again.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to be able to bring it out for like 3 mana or something to even be remotely good. But then again, even the like target, so it used to be good. Well, I used to like it. But yeah, it was only good in one deck. I forgot what deck it was. Do you want to remind me? I literally don't remember what deck it was that it was good in. Was it the Shenron leader, the blue one, or what? If someone in chat wants to remind me, I don't know why I've got like Shenron leader in my head, but I could be wrong. While we're waiting for the chat, but yeah, I think we just put it in trash because it's probably the same as like Demigra. It's good, but yeah.
So we are on 30 people, and I'm also reading the chat. Nino is here. Hey Nino, yes, we are doing everything. 50 secret rares. We've been doing this for 3 hours now. Oh, why do I do these things to myself? Okay. Well,
why did I want to tag along?
Well, now it's my turn to play in the garbage bin again. So,
mate, I love this card so much.
You love this card. It was also outside of my era, and I mean, I was in the lookout since the beginning. I just wasn't following the game so closely in this period. And it's one of those secret rares when I go on card market, it's always dirt cheap, and I've never really bothered to read it. So let's see. This is my around, I think, first reading, because I probably forgot all the other times. Okay, Ultimate 40k, 8 cost, but it has a rival. A rival for 5. 3 red, 2 green, energy exhaust, of course. Nothing else. Okay, that's already bad. Otto, when you play this card, choose one card in your life and crit it. Okay. Then deal 2 damage to your opponent. So you crit your one and you deal 2 damage to them. Okay. Otto, when your opponent combos with battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's combo area and place it in its owner's drop area.
Bear in mind that's not once per turn.
Yeah. So
think of it as a old Broly.
Yeah. So it's okay. So from what I'm reading here, I am a bit caught off guard from like why this card is. I mean, I can see why this card is so dirt cheap nowadays. It costs like 5.
Yeah.
Arrival.
Bear in mind it was BT7 as well.
It was BT7. Yes. So I don't know how it performed, but from what I am reading, it looks powerful, but it looks also slow for like 5 energy. I mean, but 5. It's 5 energy, deal 2 damage to your opponent.
Yeah. The thing is, you got to remember as well. This was in the era of multicoloreds just came out.
Okay.
So the format was slower. Yeah, it wasn't the best card. I'm a big fan of it because I liked red, green, and I also was a fan of the Broly deck that came out that basically used this kind of thing, because what they did was all the Broly cards had a similar kind of effect. So when they play a combo card, you could get rid of it, and I really loved that interaction. But yeah, even when it came out, it wasn't like top tier, but I liked it.
Yeah, I think we can put this safely into trash. Like,
it pains me, but
yes. Well, you get the other one that has seen some resurgence lately.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, this was quite playable back in the day in the blue-yellow Broly yellow deck when before Zeno button was banned. Because again, this is also BT7. But this is also in a world where Zeno button wasn't banned and stuff like that. So, so yeah, this has been seen play obviously because of the Vegito set 2 leader, and it's the leader mostly. Triple strike, ultimate, energy exhaust. The fact it doesn't have deflect doesn't really matter anymore, and it didn't really matter back then in the great scheme of things. So if your opponent has 6 or more energy, or 6 or more, well, sorry, if your opponent has 6 or more energy, or has 6 or more cards in rest mode, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So you end up, bringing it out for 5 mana, and it's 2 yellow, 3 blue. When you play this card, choose up to 4 of your opponent's cards, switch them to rest mode, and draw 4. So obviously that's a nice effect. Back then, it was fairly decent. I don't really remember specifically how well it did, but I remember, like say, blue, yellow Broly decks used to run it. But it was a different era because of Zeno button. So you could tap out 5 and then just untap everything. And obviously it's really good now because of Vegito. And if you bring this out turn 2, turn 3, and they've got energy open, it's really good. So yeah, I think this has to, because of set 2 and because of what it used to do, I kind of want to say decent. Like, were you thinking lower, higher?
Well, I'm thinking like it's one of those, like, if you need to hard cast it for like what's it, like 5 energy, then it's just bad. And like it's seeing Resurgence because of one specific deck. It's seeing Resurgence, but like when you get to play it, the effect is good. You rest 4, you draw 4. It doesn't have any protection, but like my only issue with it is that it's playable specifically because of that one deck, and that's it. Like other than that, it's just gone.
Yeah.
And like if I'm looking at like tier 3, they're still.
That's
like,
a good point.
Yeah. So would I even put it like? Will we then like put it in like tier 4?
I think if you're not like sold on the idea of putting it to tier 3, I think you put it to tier 4.
Yeah. I'm going to. Okay. I'm putting
you can make the decision on that, and then chat can hate you.
Yeah, I'm going to put this into tier 4, and I'm thinking it's tier 4 only because of the Vegito leader. If the Vegito leader doesn't exist, I would just throw this into trash immediately. But
that's fair.
It's tier 4. I don't think that Vegito leader is going to get hit, but that's a conversation for another time. So if my prediction comes true and the Vegito leader remains untouched with this ability to play 8 drops, if that part remains untouched, this card will always see play in the Vegito deck, and there it's going to be okay in that deck. So it's going to be very good in the deck. What does say, like, I ain't taping for 5 for that. Yeah, Nino, I ain't taping.
Yeah, but I was thinking of more the olden days when we used to tap 5 for
it. Yeah, and then you had like Zeno button, and you're like, oh, I basically didn't tap anything. Oh,
good times.
Yeah, good times. Well, as I said, I wasn't playing back then. I was playing during the horrific era of Hero Storm, so I also have some PTSD from that. Next one is another one that I never actually saw. Baby Janemba. Where is it?
Yeah, this came out in BT 8. It's a nice themed card, and obviously it did get a bit of support to bring it out quicker.
Yeah.
But it's standard ultimate energy exhaust offering.
You pay 5 to play.
Yeah, 5 mana to bring it out.
Your opponent may choose 3 cards from their life and place them into drop. May choose. If they do, place this card from your into the drop. So like, hey, if I want to kill myself, put this into draw. Otherwise, play this card from your hand. Then choose up to one of your opponent's leaders, and it gets like minus 30k for the turn. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is just bad. Like you're paying 5, and then your opponent says, "I'm not going to crit 3 lives. Are you insane?" And then you're like, "Okay, 40k offering," and then you do something, and then he negs your leader for the turn, and then you floodgate him, and he cries, basically. Yeah.
But again, it was in the era of. I mean, I think Topo came out about then as well in BT8.
But there is one thing that I am forgetting. There is the promo card, right?
Yeah, but you don't get the activate main effect, so all it is an offering. That's the problem. So it's like if it was an auto that was minus 30k, that would be fine. I don't remember off the top of my head how much mana you bring it out for with the promo card, but all you're doing is bringing out a 40k offering at that point.
For one, you bring him out for one. And yeah. No, I think this is trash. I think this is just.
It's pure trash.
Okay, you have the other one. You have the Vegeta one.
This was also a really good SCR back in the day because again, Broly. Believe it or not, Broly Yellow promo leader was basically every color once upon a time. You could run it literally anything, and what used to happen is when something got nerfed, it just swapped colors around. Literally, that's how even though it was a yellow leader, that's how it worked. So I'm trying to find this card again. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, sure. I love the art on this one. I love the artwork.
Yeah. So again, this is a BT8 card. Ultimate Arrival Blue Green. This also, if my memory is correct, was also in Piccolo Surge. 3 blue, 2 green, so 5 mana. So obviously there's quite a big theme around that time of 5 mana SCRs. Auto, when you play this card, choose one. So if it's your turn, this card gains double strike and crit and triple attack, which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
You get that for the duration of the turn. If it's your opponent's turn, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place it in the owner's drop, and add up to 2 cards from the top of your deck into your energy. Like, you gotta admit, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. The card itself is pretty insane. Like these effects are monstrous, man.
Especially like in Piccolo Surge, like. This was definitely like a beast of a card in the day. Obviously, I mean, it's not too bad now, but it's still paying 5 for no protection. However, the ramping's decent, the double strike crit and triple attack is nice. It's probably the better of the ones that are around now, but like but in the day it was a beast.
In the day, it was a beast. Like paying.
Well, you can tell just on the stat, giving it double strike, crit, triple attack. Like what? Or even just ignoring barrier, because don't forget there wasn't really much like in the time that could just simply do that, and you ramp to as well.
Yeah.
Like what?
So where would you put this one today on this tier list? I'll follow your advice, so...
Surely it's gotta be tier 5. Even though I don't want it to be.
Even though I don't want it to be, yes, tier 5.
It's like when we look at tier 4, like... Vegito's only there because of the Vegito leader.
Yeah.
Like...
Well...
we need more in tier 4, I think, but...
Yeah. Well, but I think 5 is fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, now we have some more tier 5. So, Dragon Balls. Yes, the Dark Dragon Balls Negative Energy Overflow. Another super cheap card. Ultimate Permanent. Reduce the energy cost of these cards in your hand by 1 for each battle card in your drop area. No specified cost, so you can play this card for 0. Activate battle at the end of this turn. Choose all battle cards ignoring barrier and place them in its owner's drop area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's at the end of the turn, but what's crazy is this came out in the same set as the two we just looked at, so Janemba and the Vegeta. So it's like it's crazy sometimes when you look at some of the SCR sets. But yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
I think it's trash. I think it's trash.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean by bad. I meant trash, like as in tier 5.
Okay, go to trash. Well, now you get one that isn't trash.
Like smoke, I still think it's trash.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's alright, innit? So, Black Smoke, this card can't attack. And if you have 12 or more cards in your drop, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 5. So it becomes a 5 mana to bring it out. Or you can use the promo card. Is it 4 mana it brings it out from the deck? Deck or hand?
Not sure. Checking. You just continue reading and wait a second. I'm just checking. Smoke here. He is counter attack. Activate. It's 4. Yeah.
4 mana. Okay. So we should really read it as it costs 4 mana to bring out. No.
You can do this as activate battle. You can bring him out. Yeah.
So it's going to activate main once per turn. You either choose one. You choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send them to the owner's warp. I can tell you, you're probably not doing that. You either mill them for 7, and you draw 2, or you they get rid of 4 cards in their hand and send them to the owner's warp. Realistically, you're going to be doing the milling effect. But it's at least better than it was because of the support. But that's basically what it does. I mean, the fact, even though it doesn't have deflect, no longer matters, because the way the TP promo works, you can choose not to play it or whatever. I forgot the wording, or choose the other option.
It says up to 1. So...
Yeah, up to 1. So, like, it doesn't matter that it doesn't have deflect anymore, because it's getting played as a 10 cost anyway, so Trunks is the only one that hits it, basically, so it's irrelevant. But yeah, the support made it better. My initial reaction, I want to say tier 3 with the support. Don't know what you were thinking.
I'm thinking like, well, this one, it hard carries the Zeno Shadow Dragons deck.
Yep.
Yeah, and this support definitely made it better. Without the support, I would say that it's bad. I would just say that like it's bad. Not necessarily trash, maybe, but bad definitely. But taking into consideration the support, I also think like tier 3, it's decent.
Yep.
It's decent. It's once again one of those that's like extremely good in one specific deck. Like it's the SCR for one deck, and it's just decent. So I think that like so for those of you who don't know, I have strong suspicion that the main reason why Peter told me like, hey Damien, can I do this with you today, is because of this one card. So Peter, European King of Invoker, enlighten us.
Yeah, if you want to know what a broken SCR looks like, look at Apex of Power. That's basically what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a side note, I do believe Apex of Power is broken. I know it sounds weird. It's just the archetype is trash.
Yeah.
So it's obviously very archetype specific, but basically, It's an activate main, so you literally can't. Doesn't matter if you bloodlust it. It doesn't matter if you trunks it. It's all gonna kick. It's all gonna work, and that's what makes it also so broken. Ultimate Victory Strike, which is broken in terms of you do damage, you win the game. Happy days. It's got Invoker, which is a nice little mechanic, but unfortunately, it's currently a little bit weak. But it's still got it, which is crazy. So activate main for 5 mana. So 2 red, 3 blue. If your leader's a Universe 7 and you have 5 or more red, blue, multicolored extra cards in your drop, you negate the skills of your opponent's non-extra cards in all areas till the end of your opponent's next turn, and then you play this card from hand. So that's everything except for extra cards. So no Z leader, no awakening, no super combos, no nothing. And that's what makes it so broken. It's just and the artwork. It's probably one of the best looking cards in the game.
Yeah. On a fun side note, Peter and I both play on Scrub Games Discord locals, and we played each other once, for only one time for as much as I remember. And I was playing Bulma deck with Gogeta versus your Invoker, and I'm a degenerate who plays bad cards, and I was playing the worst SCR in the game, that is the Gotenks red one, or Gohan's whatever the hell that one is. Effectively, it's a 2-cost. It lets you look in your opponent's hand and discard a multicolored card. Both games
it was the Unison, wasn't it?
Yeah. I discarded both games. But yeah, Peter, it's one of those cards that is like you said, it's only as good as the deck is good, because it's literally unplayable anywhere else.
The thing is, though, it's like let's say, ignore my love for the deck.
Yep.
You pay 5, and then your opponent has no abilities other than extra cards for your turn and their turn. Like, that is crazy good.
Yeah.
It's 5 mana, which is costly, but not in that deck. It's not. But like, I can't help but say it's the best SCR in the game. I can't help but say that, because like, you negate the skills of everything in all areas. Like, that's insane. So no unisons, no nothing. Unfortunately, there's not really any deck it can be played in other than in it. We say Invoker, but technically the Surge leader. You can technically play it in the Android 17 Universe 7 leader, but it's not as good. It's only good in that particular deck. So, I'm massively biased. I would personally put it straight to tier 0, because I think it's the best SCR in the game. But I'm going to reserve the right to not rate this, because I'm going to say tier 0 every single time. So,
well, I'm gonna.
I will let you decide, but make sure that you grade it correctly, please. Thank you.
Okay. Grade it correctly, tier 0.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because on a side note, the archetype is rubbish right now. So the card is unplayable.
So I'm going to say like this. I think that because it's a card that which power is so connected to the archetype, extremely connected. At Invoker's best, it's tier 0. It's like tier 1. It's literally tied to the same tier as the deck.
Yep.
So right now it's not trash. I'm not putting it in tier 5. I think realistically it is tier 4 at the moment. Like, it's maybe tier 3 if you can give like a solid argument that Invoker is decent at the moment. It's basically, now I would put it in tier 4. Maybe, set 20 comes around, if Invoker bumps into, let's say, tier 3, I'm putting it automatically in tier 3. so intertwined with the deck. It's basically it's.
It pains me so much.
But then again, like I'm tempted to just put it into tier 3, man. Like, cause like I'm thinking. So my logic is, cause I'm looking at the Smoke Dragon, and I'm like, Smoke Dragon is tier 3 because like but then again, Zeno Shadow Dragons are trash at the moment, but like it's also super intertwined with it. It's expensive.
I do think tier 3 is a fair. Because, like you say, when you're comparing like Black Smoke and the I feel like, because the thing is, it's still like just looking at the effect, it is broken.
Yeah.
So I feel like tier 3 is probably the most I'm gonna get out of you.
Yeah.
And little spoiler maybe, but I've actually been working on a Evoker deck, and I don't use that SCR anymore.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Peter's one of the best Invoker players in the world. So,
maybe Europe, maybe not the world. I don't know yet.
I'm going to put this here because before we started, there is another one that I have a very controversial opinion on. So I'm going to put this one into tier 3, and then when we reach the other one, please don't hang me. So, I'm gonna talk about Cell right now. So, Cell Zeno, before Errata tier 0, one of the best SCRs in the game. Like, absurdly strong. Right now, I think that we can just lightning fast fly through this one. Right now, it got an Errata, and it's still amazing. So like it's still amazing. It's no longer tier 0, but yeah, it's mostly now when like you're playing in green. So yeah, because like in yellow you're playing Gohan Piccolo one. It's still dangerous if you get to turn 5 and you get to play him. Then like he's like super big, super scary. It's your go-to for the Cell Ultimate deck, which suffers from like being a hand destruction deck if you build it like that. I think it's very good. It's either very good or decent. Like, I don't think that after Errata, that currently, I'm not sure, is it high competitive. Like, you can play him in Gotenks as well. You can cheat him out there. So I'm between 1 and 2, I would say. I wouldn't put it in 3. I'm between 1 and 2, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, funny enough. Because I'm thinking, I think overall, going forward, we'll probably see Cell Max picked over Cell.
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen as the meta evolves. Even though it's very easy to get 6 mana, 12 mana worth of stuff on the field, especially because of the way obviously Piccolo and Goku work together. I feel like because of how good Piccolo is, I know you go for the game, but I think because Salmax has Quad Strike naturally, and it's got such a cool little removal effect, and you can do it in a sense turn 1 to a degree, you could bring him out. I feel like Salmax will overtake. Also, Salmax you can play in maybe a deck like King Cold, for example, where you're probably less likely to have so many big battle cards because of all your extra cards. So I think Sal will probably end up being tier 2 because I feel like Salmax will outthrow him.
Yeah,
I think that's what will end up happening.
I think,
but it is very good still.
Yeah, I think it can go either tier 1 or tier 2 at this point. I
think it's close.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards tier 2 at the moment, because it's a green SCR, because you're no longer playing this in yellow. So it's a green SCR, but like...
But I guess you can't disrespect the hand control dual attack quad strike for that turn. So
let's put it in. I would put it in 1, I guess.
Yeah, just because of the. Because, I mean, you can technically bring it out still before turn 5, but.
And we also we must remember one of our criteria is
Oh yeah, it's the old
how it was when it came out. It's definitely tier 1 then. You have the waifu convention ticket, the heroine's lineage.
Yeah, I love this card. I played this in Vegex. I was a huge fan of this card. But obviously now it's lost its power because it's going to get removed from the game when you use it.
Yeah.
It's activate main, pay 5. I don't think a single person in the entire world has ever used this effect. But basically, when it was in your drop, you could remove it from the game and then choose any number of heroine cards in your hand or energy cost of 5 or less with different card names, whose energy cost adds up to a total of 10 or less, and play them. Then choose up to one of those cards and it gets 5k power for the turn. I don't think a single person ever did that.
Yeah.
But the reason it was used was because it's activate battle. So if your opponent has 3 or more energy, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 7 or less and gain control of it. Again, this was in an era where killing that kind of battle card mid-flow was amazing. It was such a cheap SCR, and it still is. But it's like someone swings with Mira, normally it's game over. This card, you could steal the Mira, and like I won so many games because of Lineage. It was such a good SCR. And it's not bad now, but SS4 Vermilion like outshines it, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I would say that like I agree with you. I mean like I'm just torn. Like it was a very good card. It was.
It's probably tier 2 or tier 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe tier 3 where it currently lies, but it was a good card. Like
I put it into tier 3. It's one of those, hey, even today it's one of those like, hey, I'm new to the game. I have a very, like low budget. I'm just starting. Is there a good SCR? It's still decent, It's one of those better budget options, and it's still strong. So I put it there.
And like the guy in the chat said, if it ignored barrier, it would definitely be higher on the list, and it'd probably still be usable today if it ignored barrier.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it doesn't.
Then we're almost done. We have the Sin promo one. Sin Shinra Negative Energy Incarnate. Ultimate Deflect Blocker 35k permanent. Reduce its costs in your hand by 1 for each card in your drop area with an energy cost of 1. This card can be removed by your opponent's skills. When this card activates its blocker, switch this card to active and it gets minus 5k for the turn. That's what it does. I'm going to give this one to you because I'm taking the next one. So
thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a fan of this card in the Sin deck back in the day. It was a good option. You either played this or the oh god, what was the other one? I forgot. Oh yes, Sal. And I forgot what the other option was, but no, it wasn't Sal. Oh yeah, it was. I was a big fan of this card, and I think it is very good. The fact it can't be removed from skills, and then you can bring it up with your 1-drop ball. You could bring it back with your leader skill. Like, it's a very good card in Sin. And I remember someone playing it before in the set 10 Gotenks, because a lot of your fusion fodders were like 1-drops, and it counts also your like extra card 1-drops and stuff like that, so it was pretty good in some yellow decks. But outside of Sin, like, there's no reason to ever play it. It's definitely something you would consider even now, I think. Like, even though Piccolo is good in Sin, like if it was a heavy aggro format where they're like swinging 5 times for like 10, 15k, you could keep blockering with that, and I think it's decent. So I think we probably have to put it as either tier 3 or tier 4. Like, but then again, I'd probably put it similar to Lineage. So I kind of feel like tier 3, but tier 4 maybe as well. Because unless it's tier 4 because it's only good in Sin.
Yeah. I think, like, would you run it in Sin instead of some other yellow options? You know, like, it's...
I think if it was a heavy aggro meta, then maybe. Like, what I mean is it'd have to be like 10Ks, and they'd have to play like 5 off of a turn or something like that, I guess.
I think I would still put it in 4. I think I would.
Yeah, I think so.
Now comes the big one. Oh, okay, watch me lose subscribers in real time. So, the original Victory Strike, 45k, EX Evolve for 1. Place 1 Universe 7 card from your hand into drop area. Universe 7 Son Goku with an energy cost of 6 or more. Ultimate Victory Strike. When you deal damage by attacking with this card, you win the game. Permanent, this card's attack and skills cannot be negated. This is, collector-wise, this is the holy grail of Dragon Ball. This is the most expensive imaginable card that exists in the game. But like, and I used to play in an era when the game just came out and this card was good. Like, when I used to play it, there were decks that played it and like it was like, oh my god, you know, it's Victory Strike, I lost, it's over, blah. I'm gone, I'm dead. Probably, maybe controversially, I think this is trash. I think I am going to be super harsh. I think like it is the most expensive card in the game. Like, if you have it, you're sitting on a lot of money. Like, it costs a whole bunch. It's in extremely limited quantities. But if you look at it in the modern era of Dragon Ball, it's just bad. It's unplayable. Like, it's unplayably bad. And now you cannot negate its attacks, but we have so many ways to just stop it. You can block it. You can activate Battle Realm of the Gods, get rid of it. It has no deflect. Yellow just hits it with anything, puts it into rest. Green blue bounces it back. Red negs it. Well, cannot neg 45.
The thing is, though, sorry to interrupt. You're forgetting the higher mastery package behind it. So, like, they would have no energy, basically.
Yeah, but then you need to run the heightened mastery package if you want to do this. So it's still bad. I think this card is just flat out awful. I think that right now it is just flat out bad. So I think that, like, Nino is asking, it doesn't see play because it's expensive or because it's bad. Miyamoto says both, and I have to agree with Miyamoto. If this card got mass reprinted tomorrow, and if its price just dropped dead, and everyone has them, it still wouldn't see any play. Like, that's how bad I think this card is.
So because of how much of a powerhouse this card was in the past, I think you have to put it as tier 4 just out of respect, because the Height of Mastery Broly era, we had the Shenron Resurrection deck era, and you also had the Frieza Universe 7 era. Like, I think even though I agree, when we look at the card now, it is trash.
Yeah.
But I think because of how dominant that card was, I mean, luckily when it was dominant, collectors weren't interested in the game, and it was 200 quid to buy.
Yeah.
Like, because I know the copy I've got, I bought for £200.
Yeah, I bought it for a friend's birthday for like $100, $120. You know, in amazing condition. So like, yeah.
It's crazy world when that was like the most expensive card, and like, but it was like at one point one of the best. Like that deck, I think Higher Mastery VS, like kind of, and VS as a whole, it defined a lot of the meta through different phases. So I think for that you've got to respect what it used to do. However, it can't do nothing now.
Yeah. It's tier 4. Only 2 left.
And also,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And I was going to say also, don't forget, that's also why we have some limits on some cards because they were scared of turn 2 Victory Strike.
Yeah.
With Cell,
So only 2 left to go, man. It's almost been 4 hours. So
do you want to cover Oob or do you want to cover Frieza?
I want to cover Frieza. You cover Oob.
God damn it. That's fine. I'll cover Oob. Oh wow, Oob. Probably the cheapest SCR in the entire game, like ever. Okay, so it's a double strike dual attack, which is nice stats because bear in mind this is TB2, so this is quite a long time ago. If you lead a card as World Tournament, and if there are 6 or more in both your energy and your opponent's energy area, decreases card's energy cost in your hand by 2. So it is 8 with 3 Pacific Blue, so it becomes a 6 drop. Because it did come out in the era of World Tournament. And it's got a great ability. When this card attacks, you choose up to 1 card each from your opponent's life, energy, and place them at the bottom. So obviously, because it's got dual attack, it basically crits 2 life and bottom decks 2 energy. And that's so good. Like, obviously, ignoring the fact it's so expensive to bring out, like that effect is a great effect. But if we compare to the Paikuhan earlier, that looks at your opponent's hand, bottom decks a card, like imagine that effect on Paikuhan. It would be crazy good. So yeah, this was a great card, especially in the not Veku ramp, but the Gogeta ramp, the blue deck. For anyone that remembers that, this was a great card in that deck. So yeah, very good. SCR. It's just a shame it's so expensive to bring out because unless you're a World Tournament, it's going to be an 8 cost, and you're not paying 8 mana for it.
No way.
So, and you're not paying 6 mana for it, to be honest. Either.
Yeah.
Even if you're World Tournament, like you're not paying 6 mana for this card.
Yeah. So where are you putting it?
Would I play it in a ramp deck is my question. Because in any other blue deck, the answer is definitely no. Would I play it in a ramp deck? Like, I'm not saying over hatch or anything, but like, would I consider? I mean, we used to run it in ramp decks. Maybe. I feel like it's got to be 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards 5. Like, if
because even if you got 6 mana, would you prefer bring this out or bring like Vegeta to ramp another 4?
Yeah, definitely Vegeta over this any time of the day, man. Like, Vegeta looks like an SCR compared to this, so like
yeah, but I'm thinking about how cool it used to be, but it's still too expensive.
So finally, almost 4 hours later, we have reached
4 hours later.
Yeah, we have reached the final one. Frieza Army Reborn. Quadruple Strike. 40k Ultimate Permanent. When your life is at 2 or less, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So then it costs 5 specific red. When you play this card, your opponent reveals their hand. Choose up to one card from your opponent's hand and place it into their drop. Then choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 40k or less, ignoring barrier, and KO them.
I love this SEO.
So there is stuff to say about this one. It's well, I mean, it's not good, but it's not like, I don't know.
It's not as bad as some of them, is it?
yeah. I'm just slightly biased because I enjoy the Frieza swap engine. Like, I enjoy Frieza swap, and you can swap into him because there.
Remind me, how much mana does it cost to swap into him?
2. Only 2 mana, and then you swap into him.
Is that from the 5-drop, is it?
No, it's from the 3-drop. You play the 1-drop for 1, you swap for free into a 2-drop. 2-drop pays 1 for 3-drop, and then you pay 2 for 5-drop. So
yeah, it's when you've got 3 left. So I was thinking when you're like the 8 cost part, not when it's reduced.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's quite decent. The swap part.
Yeah. So you can swap him out, but like you need to be on 2 or less in order to do so. So you need to be on super low life to be able to do. Nowadays, you can do this with surmounting the impossible Vegeta. You can manipulate yourself to 2 lives on your turn. But like, I like this one. I'm heavily biased because I really love the Frieza swap engine. And I like this one. But like, it has like 0 protection. It has nothing. Oh, it wipes the board, but its quad strike, it's huge, you know. It snatches a negate from your opponent's hand. Like if
that's the thing, isn't it? You're looking at your opponent's hand, you're board wiping, and it's quad, and that's what's crazy about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's too expensive, but like it's just quad. I think it's just got all the good. It ticks all the boxes for an SCR other than the cost. Like, imagine if that came out now and it cost, say, 2 mana instead. But you could only, technically, we have something similar to that in terms of the Vegeta, Vegito S, or is it Vegito or Vegeta? Whichever the red SS4 SCR is. Because obviously that looks at the hand, it gets quad strike for the turn. Obviously, it doesn't have the board wipe, but it kind of has a similar effect anyway.
But one of our viewers, Jose, just told me what's gonna change my rating is I was wrong. You cannot swap into it because it's a Frieza BR card, and the swap engine is only. So I think that's just kind of. This just kind of, you know, the final nail in the coffin now, because now you're paying 6 for it in a world where Vegeta exists and Vegito exists and like other
you don't even put it as bad tier, just straight tier 5, isn't it now?
Yeah, it hurts me, but I think it's straight tier 5 now,
because it's never been like a meta defining card either.
Yeah.
So
if you could swap into it, I would put it into tier 4. I would definitely, because like you said, it ticks all the right boxes, but now you cannot swap into it. It has no protection and can be counterplayed. It can be blanked. A lot of things can happen, and you need to be on 2 life to pay 6 to play. To pay 5 to play him. I think this.
Because that's the thing. If you're paying 5 energy for it when you're at 2 life, if it doesn't win, you're dead.
yeah. So that's it. This one goes into trash, and 3.5 hours later.
Woohoo!
Oh God, we have finished the SCR tier list. I'm looking forward to seeing how many videos, how many views this one is going to have after it gets uploaded, because it's like 3.5 hours.
Maybe upload it at like a quicker speed or something.
Thank you, Peter, for coming and championing through 50 secret rares, 51 because I missed uploading one of them, the Goku one, and man, thank you, chat. Thanks everyone who came to see us. Thanks everyone who championed from the beginning or like at any point in this video, because like this has been a long one, man. Like I should really stop doing this to myself. Yeah, there is no SS4 Goku SCR. No, Nino, we have missed it. We've missed it. I think we put it into trash. I forgot to upload that one.
Yeah, we did put it into trash too in the end.
Yeah. So, any final words, shout outs, anything?
Other than it being so tired right now.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me. It's been good. Obviously, it might be worth having a little timer into it if you if you don't want to go so long. But no, it was good because we had a good laugh and we had a chat, and it was nice to sort of talk about some of the SCRs and, like I say, some of it's the old stuff. So, shout out to you guys. You do a great job. So. Well done. Shout out to my team, Team 9 Life. Shout out to all the Invoker players, my brother, and everyone that I play with and talk to. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And yeah, we should add some sort of a timer next time, because like this is like
yeah, might be worth it.
My kids are looking at kids are nocturnal animals, and even they are now starting to look at me like, shut the fuck up, like. Just go to sleep, man. Like, so
yeah, cause it's 20-1 for me, so it's gonna be 20-2 for you.
Yes. So luckily it's the weekend. So thanks for coming. Thanks everyone for joining us. This has been the highly requested all SCRs ever tier list. And for next week, I'll try to have like something much more reasonable than this. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Peter. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.